distracted again. No, I'm on time. I'm on time. What are you talking about? I'm on time. I thought I was. We always, every time. Is it official yet? Come on. Yeah, there we go. I need a new 2025. My remote barely works. So, how does this Friday, the 13th, find everyone? I think this is our second Friday the 13th. This is our second time we've done this. No, Mr. Blind Guy, every other, you usually see him every other week, unless he's house sitting, because he was gone for like a month, and then he showed back up. But yeah, I haven't heard from him. Ever since he got the tumor, he has the weirdest sleep schedule of any human that I've ever encountered. He will sleep like 24 hours straight, and then not sleep for like 72 hours. And apparently nothing works. Like, he's tried all of the various sleep aids, and sometimes he's just awake. It's kind of the mirror opposite of the condition in which I live, which is, man, I'm tired by 9:30 at night, and then I remind myself I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Who is with you then? No one? Yeah, I mean, you're with me. Happy Friday the 13th. So I am not working. I recorded a video this morning, and I have a soft cap where I basically tell myself no recording on Fridays, but I had everything queued up from yesterday, and with the way the weather is, where, I mean, it's reasonable today, but we've had a couple days where it's basically too hot. I thought I heard someone else in the background. No. Yeah, the crowns are there until YouTube has performed enough, I don't know, testing or analysis to determine whether or not they're going to keep them. I on the channel dashboard, there's a little thing up in the top corner which has like news updates or whatever, and I haven't seen any mention of the crowns, whatever they're calling this thing, community whatever. They did change at the top corner now. At the top of chat, it says top fans now. But I don't know what it's about. I mean, I don't know. I guess I see what they're trying to minigame it. I guess they're trying to get people to donate money, like that, because YouTube gets their cut. It's a reasonably small cut, but is it reasonable? Because they're not doing anything except providing a venue. So they provide a venue, and their cut for the venue is too big. Let's say is too big. So I don't know. It will come or it will go. YouTube and their parent company, Alphabet, they add and subtract things from all of their properties just all the time. Stuff you see, stuff you don't see, where you're getting Mandela affected all the time because you'll log into some app or something that you haven't used in a couple days or a week or a month, and you'll be like, I could have sworn that I used to be able to do this. And odds are you probably were able to do that, and then they decided, we don't like that. We're gonna stop doing that. So I got my first email from Gmail this morning saying your storage is almost full, and then I logged into it and I was 20% full, and I'm like, Guys, somebody needs to tell you what almost means. Like, almost full is like 90% full, not 20. And I've had a Gmail for a while. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to throw things out in. Well, I mean, there's 65 people, so I mean, but uh, the raccoon has a different name on the Discord now. I don't. I just went. Okay. I don't know what that was explicitly. I don't know what that's about. People change their names all the time. Cost of building the Capra 8. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let's operate from the perspective that you have to that you don't have anything. You've got to start from scratch. You don't have any parts laying around to build your giant Capra. All right. So we're gonna. Well, some of this stuff's been on here a little too long. I'm like, okay. I do love a whiteboard. Y'all know me, man. I do love a whiteboard. Okay. I just saw my whiteboard marker. Right. Okay. So, axles are gonna set. We're gonna say axles $150. No matter which way you go. If you go with Mias, if you go with some Amazon nonsense, and then upgrade the parts, whatever, you're looking at about $150. Now, luckily, on this axle with this setup, you can run a full-size servo. You don't need to run a half. There's people talking right outside. Servo is we'll call it $60. Shocks are long arm, aka high trail, from Jenny's. So that's about $45. Gearbox, Amazon Dig Box is $60 for the box. 15. We'll call it. We'll roll another 20 into it. So we'll call it $80, including the Dig Servo. Set a TRX4 next to that bad boy for a comparison size. Like Sandy. I mean, it's pretty big. Oh, well, how much does this capture? Now I need to zoom out. Can I zoom out? I can't even see the camera, so now I can't zoom out. So, like, wheelbase wise, they are front of tire to front of tire, and this one's way back there. The cage, I don't know. Somebody else would have to tell me what that cage costs nowadays. Last we were ordering, they're about, we'll call it $40. They might be more now. Links are a mixture of here and there. So let's say you need to buy 2 sets of RC Lions, which would cost you $32. The scale motor is $22. It's not necessary. Someone had asked about the mounting. So it is, you can just see here from the end, this is an 1.5 inch dowel. And it is screwed to the bottom of the cage right there with those 3 screws. And then, well, you can see, and then I shaped it at the bottom just on a sander. And then hot glued the motor to the top of that dowel. And that is that. You can use any skid, but this is the one. This is the flat belly Capra skid, or flat belly 3-gear 4 Capra skid, which you can get on AliExpress for $10. You could run the just skid that comes with the body, but we will put in the skid for $10. Are these cut to lengths? These are indeed cut to lengths. If you're using the regular cut to lengths, we'll call it $20. Shafts. And then you're gonna want a what should we call motor combo? $80? $100? What do you want to call it? Let's call it $80. Because there is I think it's a Rhino. Yeah, this is all Rhino, but you could replace all of that with the Secure set, and you'd never know. There's an 1800. It's an 1800 or a 1900. Yeah, it's a 1900. If you replace that with a Secure 1800, you wouldn't even need to change a tooth on the pinion. I don't think. Oh, wheels and tires. Now, wheels and tires, I'm not going to factor into any kind of cost because your choice of wheel and tire is going to be your choice of wheel and tire. I mean, this is Geologic Infections with Crawler Innovations foams and Injora oil slick turbines. So that's like, yush. $200 for wheels and tires all in. It's a lot. 575s. They will get you. 210, 125, 72, 110, 335, 182, 5. 517. Call it 520 plus wheels and tires. Now, I think that this is a defensible price point because what does an RTR Capra cost? 550? So this is less than an RTR Capra, but you'd have an Outrunner with AM32, TRX4 shocks, better axles. You don't have four-wheel steer, but you have dig that actually works. Double cardons for big steer angle. This guy is an excellent example of why I'm constantly saying build it rather than buy it. I do understand if you're just starting off in the hobby and you don't know what parts specifically to procure for it, but there's zero exotic bits on this. I fabricated 3 pieces for it. I made alternative link mount points. I think that the link split at the axle is still not enough. I have an idea of how to make my own link mount because these link mounts bolt to this axle. They're little bolt-on tabs. They need to be a good fair bit higher. I think I'm just going to make an aluminum adapter plate that raises it up and will be bolted to the axle, and then this will be bolted to that because you want the spacing between the upper and the lower at the axle to be 20% of the height of the wheel, and we're definitely not in that range anymore. We've got probably 32 millimeters of split, and these would be 137 millimeters high. So we need those spaced apart another 7-8 millimeters. Yeah, it's great. It's not perfect because we had to make some link, allowances. Anytime you go in a cage, if you put yourself in a cage, you are voluntarily limiting yourself. That's just how that's going to be. I mean, flat rails are going to give you more shock mounting positions. How many, well, let me see here. How many rear shock mounting positions do we have? 3. And they are 5 millimeters apart. So you can lay it down a couple degrees more versus not. And then in the front, I'm running a shock key because where this axle placed in the front, it did not like these big old shocks in the front. I want to build an LCG class 1, not for comps or anything, just for myself. Yeah. It is coming along. It is Can't see much. Wait, and I'll move Sandy. It is he's right down there. He's right down there. That video might be coming up. As a matter of fact, I know that video is coming up. What day is it coming up on? I don't remember. All I know is it's filmed, it's in the can. It's on its way. So yeah. Ordinarily, I don't like really drilling down the cost all the way, like what did this thing cost? Because then my brain starts to fixate on what did this thing cost. But I didn't buy very many things, if any, that are like specific to that gentleman. You could, like, if you go with 110 Chavtex, you'll save a little money on shocks. If you don't go with the LCG skid, you'll save a little money there. If you have any links lying around, you won't need to buy 2 sets of links. But we'll call it 520, and I'm comfortable with it. How's the prep going for the Expo? Ugh. It is. So we started yesterday. I need to put some of these things away. I'm going to fill the whole bench. We started yesterday on the prep for, I don't know if I've mentioned it before, the first day of the Expo, the kid is going as Vi from Arcane on Netflix, and Vi has these giant gauntlets, and we started cutting out the templates, which came printed. I had to have my wife print them out at her work because I can't do tiling. I can't tile all the pages. It was 40 sheets of paper all taped together, and then we covered them completely in packing tape so that we can use these as the templates, and we will begin assembly of the gauntlets very shortly. I am going to begin an attempt to 3D print another thing for the show, and luckily one of the I haven't seen him in here today, but one of the Canyon Arrows from the Discord, I just sent him the file, and he did the whole slicer job, and all I have to do is load him into the slicer, load up the new filament that he told me to order, load that up into the printer, and everything should go smashingly. And if it doesn't, it will not endear me additionally to 3D printing. The 1.9 Rover is 96 and a half, 97 millimeters tall. It is 42 millimeters wide. So even at 42 millimeters wide, they still look like beach balls because they're so short. And these are the included foams. I sent them off with Lil Fellow when Lil Fellow went to Pennsylvania, but this tire is not nearly scale enough for the sensibilities of a one Miata commuter. So they boomeranged back to me in a box. So if you're telling me that I haven't tested the 1.9 Rovers, you're probably right, because I didn't have anything to test them on. And now, fortunately or unfortunately for me, I do. So I guess we'll add, you know what? We'll add it to the list. When are we going to get some Redux? Is there some tires that need to be tested? Well, I don't know what any of them are, so I'm gonna not even feign ignorance in the quick views. 1.9 Rover. That makes me sad. The 3 tires that are on the current quick view list are all Class 1 and smaller. Bounty Hunters also haven't been tested. Oy vey. Look, don't make me test 4 Class 1s or smaller in a row. How far away does the shrapnel land when a nice Lexan shell in a slow crawler gets rear-ended by a race car at 115 miles an hour? I found one of my spotlights about 30 feet from impact. That sounds like fun. You have a really old video testing the 19 rovers. See? Hugo doesn't keep track of enough stuff. Like, we don't pay him for a reason. Because, like, his work ethic is too close to that of the Canyon. And if we're going to pay somebody, they have to be better than us. And nobody that's better than us wants to work here. So we're stuck with this level of... Do you know how many times somebody has asked me about something, and then I'm like, I don't know, and I have to go look it up on my own video. Ugh, Class 1 tire testival. Oy. We still haven't... Okay, but not after the new protocol. That is fair. Also, we still don't have a Class 1 protocol, and I'm not a Class 1 guy. Stop using all caps. I'm going to use all caps on you. It's not my fault. He sounds awfully defensive for someone whose fault it theoretically isn't. I forget the drig you drove, but I know your rocks still had dirt on them. Yeah, I believe it. Those things have been here for a while. Slam wagon needs to be the Class 1 baseline. I mean, I'm not... Why is Mr. Spain is always yelling. I wouldn't mind the Slam wagon being the Class 1 test vehicle. If that's where it ends up, then that's where it ends up. Penaby will warm up to me at some point, theoretically. Is it a hard body thing? I don't know. I know that we have a very small number of hard bodies here, and there's only one of them that I drive with any regularity, and that's Bruce. By the way, let me grab a friend of ours. He still has his treasure on the roof. He's still got his cutoff wheel. So, when Bruce took the tumble, so you can see the bit of blue plastic still on there. That's really nothing. The tabs on the inside of the front end, ooh, it's better when you look at it straight from the front. Oh, well, look where the hood is. Bruce's whole front end sheared off of the chassis on that tumble, and this side of the windshield will not set all the way back down anymore. Also, his back doors close okay. But yeah, this is... Like, watch the bumper. It's not moving. I think what's going to happen is at a point, going to have to pull the body all the way off, make a big, you know how I love that aluminum channel, the aluminum L angle, make a huge L angle that bolts to the frame. Everything else seems okay. It doesn't seem like anything blew else out of place, but I noticed it. I didn't notice it until the week after that happened, or 2 weeks after that happened. And I was trying to get the hood open so that I could unplug the battery. And I was like, his body is really shifting around. So my first worry when I saw the wiggle, I thought the bumper, because we have a pound of bumper attaching with 3 screws into the actual chassis part, and I thought I broke that, but no, the bumper is fine, and this one as well. Can probably glue him back. Other than that, he looks okay. We're gonna have to take some of your sticks away, Bruce. I know it's very very possessive about them. Let's see how we're looking. Rails look straight. The bill stains still feel... Oh, that one's lost most of its oil. Most of its oil. It looks mostly okay. Nothing's falling apart. He's got huge lumps of dried algae wedged in his wheel hexes. He's doing all right. He's doing all right. He definitely is a torture test scenario for any component that is installed on here. Yeah, these the RC four-wheel drives, they look great, and they are definitely RC four-wheel drive. They are coughing the guts out. This one is the actual worst one. Maybe, can I get it on 2? Look at that guy. Oh, man. Hey, you can see some nice algae up in there. But, as I mentioned in the last one, all caution thrown straight to the wind. Like, I just take him out and run him. I don't he doesn't get any pre-flight check, which is how it took us a couple weeks to notice that is. And the wife's TRX4 is getting properly loud. It's getting real loud. If I do anything, I should probably pull the gearbox out of that and give that some attention, because also hers doesn't like to shift sometimes. I spent like $70 on those shocks. Do you have any of my tiny stickers on Bruce's rear passenger window? Yes. And then there's a Shaker MT and a Revolt. And there's another Shaker MT on the other side. You need to get rid of those RC four-wheel drive junk shocks and make some Desert Lizards look like them. They don't make a 70mm Desert Lizard. Don't think that I would not change those shocks out to something else. The availability of 70mm long shocks is horrible. And that is all that will fit on him. If you put anything longer, you take a bunch of the suspension travel away. And we don't have a whole lot of suspension travel on those Leafs as it is. He's probably got, I would say, 20mm of total travel. And if you put an 80 on it, you almost half that travel. It really turns him into a skateboard. Yeah, our RC four-wheel drive shocks consume oil. Yeah, and they were filled with diff oil. 5,000 CST diff oil. When I refill them, they'll have 7,000 CST in them. Do Bruce's taillights flash weird in person, or is that just something from the camera? I don't actually know, because I've only seen it in an edit. In the daytime, the taillights basically aren't bright enough to see. MST shocks are... some MST shocks are 70mm. The MST shocks that I have are 70mm. I only have 3 serviceable ones. One of them, the cap stripped out, and it leaks oil everywhere. So I bought those for all the reasons that I bought them, because they look good. Anyone tried G-Made 90mm transitions? Are they recommendable? I think the only G-Made that I have tested is the RSD. And it's fine. But it's another shock that there's no real reason to buy because they're too expensive based on other shocks out on the market. The GTS kind of serves as the starting point for, like, should I buy some other shock for any other reason? I broke my glasses by accident, so I cannot see anything. So chat right now is just a blur. Nice. Just glue the cap. I tried. You would never be able to get all of the traces of silicone out of them So glues don't glue. Oh, it's not about leaking. Bruce will pump his shocks dry. He's 14 plus pounds when he's out on the trails. He drives a lot of miles, and even 3 or 4 trailing episodes his shocks will need serviced again. And I don't wanna, so I just kind of I just kind of ignore it. I just ignore it for now. So I had begun working on something prior to this, and then I realized, oh man, the time draws nigh. We need to replace the shocks on Zorana. You'll remember Zorana last time around, we had definitely come to a determination that there's way too much travel. So we want to go to a shorter shock. She's still on 95. We saw the same thing with the GFO. Basically, the blind guy, any rig that the blind guy was directly involved in, got 95 millimeter Dravtex, and they are too long. She, like, this is too much travel. It's too much travel. So I told him, Zoku, these 85s, just put big bores on it. Yes, no. Zorana started as a Phoenix, but the only parts still remaining from that Phoenix kit are the transmission. That's it. She's a twin. So she is a Zoku Phoenix-ish. She can't be a Zoku Phoenix if she doesn't have the body. But I will contradict myself and say she's kind of an honorary Phoenix because she runs this. She was built with the intention of putting the CJ on it, which is having some real paint weirdness. That chunk of paint fell off on one of her last tumbles. Just fell off. You can see how matte the body is because I did PS 58 down before the paint, and I think the paint might have had some sort of a reaction. We've got some like bubble up. It's correctable. I'll just repaint it again from the inside. But she is an honorary Phoenix because I say that the single biggest drawback to the performance of a Phoenix is the weight of that body. Her body weighs 1.3 pounds. So it weighs more than a Phoenix body. So she still does carry forth the spirit of a Phoenix. Mr. Spain, if the body that you're going to put on your Phoenix is appropriately heavy, I think you can still call it a Phoenix. I think it's missing some of the spirit of the Phoenix in the FJ45. But, I mean, I can show, well, why not? We're here, right? We're here and we're together. So, the core difference between Zorana and Argenum is she's on a stubby so she can run BTA on metal axles. Same chassis rails, same sliders, same gearbox, same tires. He's on squids. She's on the YZZR. She's definitely more similar to this, but we're also in the Zoku. They're both Zokus. So, oh yeah, I think you could call your 3D Cherokee body fitted. I think you can still call that a Phoenix because you've made a sacrifice for vanity. Argenum has, Zorana has, you will have has. So yeah, if you're putting a body on it that's grotesquely overweight, are those friction? Who did I put the friction shocks on? Who did I put? Who are the friction shocks on? I don't remember. I did a dual shock setup on the front of my trail rig and the handling got much better. The second shock is just for extra damping. Yeah. Did you have to clearance the Zoku Phoenix rear toolbox? Is the Rock 1 still a Phoenix? I don't think it is. Because I've driven both. And, well, maybe a full Rock 1. If you do the full Rock 1 with all of the bits, maybe with the fender, the whole bed section, the interior, all of that. It's just a Phoenix that looks different at that point. I mean, base camp got the friction. Okay. I still, in my mind, inaccurate as it might be, I still think that the FJ45 is a big part of what makes the Phoenix a Phoenix. But having said that before, and then seeing Argenum and Zorana basically being identical on the underneath, and her body weighing more than a Phoenix body, if the single biggest performance detractor from your vehicle is the body, I think that's Phoenix category. I think you're a Phoenix. Can you cut the shaft down on the Desert Lizards and retreat it? Well, the body, that wouldn't shorten the body. So you would still you'd still be limiting the travel. So yeah, you can keep your not a Phoenix. I'm going to have a mythological big-ass snake that fights the sun god Ra during the night. That beats a Phoenix. Yeah. Will a Fusion fit on the Mias LCG gearbox? Well, that depends. That gearbox is not reversible, so the motor is going to be facing forward. If you're fitting it to a vehicle that is set up with chassis-mounted steering, probably not. Because that third link is going to go, unless you flip it over to the other side. Maybe. It's just like, can you run a Fusion on a Tulo? Kind of. So I told him to just buy some big bores. But he said, what shocks have you not had before? And I said, we've never tried those SSDs, which is what I'm cutting open right now. SSD Pro Scale 90 millimeter. I think he was sold on them based on the fact that they are black and silver, and our whole well, why am I showing it in the package? There we go. His whole theme is black and silver. Now, I know a little bit of the oddities of the SSD Pro Scale. They are 90 millimeter. They're definitely dry. They are fitted with a spring that leads me to believe that these shocks are intended to be put on things like a Phoenix. Because that's a 2-pound spring. 60 millimeters long. Yes. 60 millimeters long. 13 ID. Which is a little small. Is that a little small or is that right on? No, it's right on. Same as an axial. But a 2-pound spring isn't going to fit a lot of things. Super amazing. I almost missed one. I like the looks of the H10 optic, but I know it lacks in performance. Can you please share the recommendations you would make if you had one? Go look at It Came From the Workbench 58. There has been one episode. Episode 2 is Monday. My recommendation is, spoilers! The biggest drawback of the optic is not the cage. It is both the axles and what they decided to do with the suspension geometry in order to fit said cage. The optic runs this link 4 times. The front and rear lower links are the same link all the way around. That doesn't work if you want to crawl a rock. And then the H10 axle basically adds nothing. If you were to take if you were to remove your H10s and put on an axle of your choice, if the wheel you have fitted is running this hub right here, you're an F10. If you remove that hub and replace it with this hub, now you're an H10. So that's why I don't understand why they went through all the work of making a completely new axle for that much difference right there. Because you can make an F10 H10 width for $20. Put Capra axles under it. That's it. Because the H10 is so long down the middle, it needs portal clearance. It needs a proper 5 1/4. So it either needs Tusks or Megalithics or 2-2 cut canyon trails. Razor wires, Upgrade RC razor wires. Your choice of a 2.2 525 LP tire, 2.2 wheels to match, and Capra axles under it. Even if you don't make alterations to the wheelbase. Yeah, I'm always, Mr. Span, I speak only in Amazon prices. I order from AliExpress only under circumstances where I cannot obtain that part anywhere else. If I can get it anywhere else, like these bumpers, these titanium bumpers, I know for a fact that you can get them on AliExpress cheaper than you can get them on Amazon. But I can order one on Amazon and have it right now. I can have them within 1 or 2 days. Is there a good place to find Capra axle clones? If you're looking for 2-wheel or 4-wheel steer, the Mias are probably the best combination of quality and price. You're looking at about $150 to $160 for the 2-wheel steer and $200 for the 4-wheel steer. They are very well made. I don't have any problems with them. The fit and finish is quite good. The Rhinos are good, but they're not gooder enougher over the Mias to justify the additional cost. They are far too expensive. They're cheap by like Axial or Vanquish terms, but they're still far too expensive, at least for me. Otherwise, you can go on Amazon. You can buy whatever clone, like the axles that are on the UTV-8, the one that was out here earlier. Those are just cheap Amazon $100 a pair, and then you replace the stubs with the 5mm heavy-duty stubs, and you put the double cardons in them. Now, sometimes the double cardons are tough to locate, and by the time you're done, you've spent about $150 on the axles. So I just wish that Mias sold their Capra axles on Amazon, but for whatever reason, they don't. So they're readily available, and if you don't mind putting the bits and pieces together, and you don't have to explicitly change to the universals, but you change the universals to the double cardons, but you will get a lot more steering angle. So there is that. And they're on Amazon, so you can get them really fast. Have you had any issues with using aftermarket hubs on Trail 2.2 wheels? The wheels have 2.5 holes and the hubs are M3. Yes, that would be your issue, is virtually all, there might be some that are exceptions to the rule, but virtually all Trial wheels use 2.5mm hardware for the hubs. Now, provided that the holes line up with the hubs that you have, all you need is a drill and a 3mm drill bit. You're only removing 0.5 millimeter of material, which is 1/4 millimeter around the outside. So you get a 3mm bit and a drill, and you just drill them out wider. That's all you got to do. Ever since I bit the bullet and put Chronics on my Phoenix, no more oil slicks, and they work great. Yeah, Chronics work absolutely great. The problem is $160 to $170 a set, and that is crazy. I have 2 sets of Chronics, and they work great. But I'm not rushing out to buy any. Have you run the Zool without a sway bar? No, I have not. The trailing arms get real loosey-goosey. The rear end really flops over very easily without the sway bar on it. Did you ever put that servo in Madam Mim? Yes, I put that servo in immediately. Yes. And then the SA-75 is in, one of the SA-75s is in Gumby. Just because of fast shipping, you can save so much money on LA. No, you can. I can't. Someone had just linked a set of 105 clones, and when he bought them on AliExpress, they were $18. By the time that link got through, they were $33, which is actually $2 more than they are on Amazon. And let's say that you can get them at $18 plus tax and whatever else, so $20. I can order a set of 105s on Amazon right now and have them at my house tomorrow for $27. So I just consider that $7 to be expedited shipping, where I don't have to wait 2 weeks for them to arrive and potentially open an envelope that has a bracelet in it, because those are the risks of AliExpress. Yeah, Stu Knott is 100% right. AliExpress is the same or more money than Amazon prices in the US these days. That is absolutely true. Did you hear Manios is planning on releasing the Capra axles in plastic as well? Their first one that's coming out is a Capra width straight axle, which according to Mias will be out in a month or so. So I'm actually, at first glance, I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, wait a minute. Straight axle Capra, interesting. I would like to do a class 3 build on a straight axle Capra. Trial sucks, IMO. I would have to disagree with that to a degree that I cannot measure because I have the machining level on a Trial wheel is such that it permits you to ignore the fact that basically everything they do is proprietary. Like, you have to use their rings. You're pretty much restricted to their hubs. But if I can find them, there we go. But the fitment and quality, the machining quality on this wheel is every bit as good as anything that you'll get from Vanquish. These are extraordinarily well made. And they basically, and that is a plated, that is a powder coated steel ring. So these are nice and heavy. These are excellent wheels. I have never been disappointed in to any degree by any Trial wheel I've ever bought or put into use. They are really, as far as what I would classify as Amazon wheels, Trial would be up at the top of that. I like the Firma versus Hobby One comparison. Any Outrunner pancake motor ESC consideration? Well, I mean, I look at it like this. I am never, almost never, I'm almost never going to put an Outrunner in a situation where a Fusion will fit, because I consider the two to be diametrically opposed, right? Like, this is running a Fusion, this is running a Rhino S20 because it's got a stubby kit and that's all it will fit. So you can't fit a Fusion on this. Argenum runs a Fusion Pro, and if you said, would you trade that out for a Rhino S20 2200? Absolutely not. Some rigs are meant for Fusions. There's been 1 or 2 instances I can think of where I swapped one way or the other just for, I guess, what would amount to no reason. But nowadays, now with the tariff times, on Amazon right now, you can still get a secure 120 amp or the secure 70 amp with the 3625 pancake for like 80, 90 bucks. And that's kind of unbeatable now. There are a couple domestic sellers where you can still get Fusions for the pre-tariff pricing. Hey! Coffee drink. I'm looking forward to that coffee drink. Man, am I looking forward to that coffee drink. We're ever going to try cannoli versus suspension for the rear? Oh, I love a cannoli. I was just talking to my kid about cannoli yesterday. There's a little local Italian place called Savarino's. I know you meant cantilever, but you got me thinking about cannoli. And the Savarino's makes a killer cannoli, and they run the weirdest hours ever. Like they're open from like 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. It's like they serve lunch. It's weird, but it's a really good cannoli. Are you going to test that ProTech 370 TBL? Like on the test rig? Because that's my third 370 TBL. There's 2 other rigs currently running 370 TBLs. Choosing a servo for a boat I'm working on. Traxxas 2075 RTR or Reedy? Traxxas all the way. Yeah, the Traxxas all the way. The Traxxas servo, so long as it is provided with conservatively set endpoints, is a perfectly acceptable servo. 20 years ago, it was almost excellent. Version 1 trail were horrible. The hex could not be removed. The bolts were fake. I now see. Now that you've got over me because I've never seen that. I've only seen the current, what I would call the current round of trail wheels. There's only one wheel that I like that has fixed hub. Who used to sell them? Is Daphne still running them? No. I don't think I have any more sets. I think they all stripped out. They were just, like, the face was just a one piece of aluminum. It weighed a metric ton. They were great. You just had to adjust your offsets because you couldn't change the hub, but they were super heavy and not made very well. I've never had an issue with Ally. One pair of chavs and one head clip and one spinny thing, and that's it. And I got my money back. Oh, no. Yeah, Ally Express is really tailored towards people outside the United States. Have you experimented with front toe angles with any of your builds? I actually did a video on toe in versus toe out and how much is too much. It might be in the dumb. It might be in tech notes. I just know that we drove it to the point of exaggeration where I was running like half an inch or 3/4 of an inch of toe in and toe out to see what difference it made. I prefer neutral. If given the opportunity, I will set the vehicle up completely neutral. And if you have a little bit of toe in or a little bit of toe out, it's not really going to be overwhelmingly impactful. You'll probably not even notice. You have to get to fairly excessive angles. This is, I would say that's neutral. If that's not neutral, that's within about a 1/16 of an inch. I don't know why when I think in toe, I think in inches. Listening on tablet while building a new section of my test course for RC excavator. Oh, RC excavator. That sounds like a lot of work. See, for example, I bought 2 Fusion SEs for $90 total. Yeah, we don't get that kind of a thing. I also have to say we're not getting any increases in taxes and things like that. Correct. Yes, you're not. You don't have the tariff things. For using one of my stickers on Bruce, I'll put a bigger one on there if you want. I was just digging through. Hey, a cannoli. I need a tiramisu or a cannoli like soon. Ooh, hey, Father's Day. Father's Day is Sunday. I'm gonna make them scour the local territory. There's this really bougie bakery in the neighboring town that has a pretty good tiramisu. It's not the best one I've ever had. The best tiramisu I've ever had, oddly, is at the Huntington Library, which is also, I mean, a little bit bougie. You go to look at art. But it was in the cafeteria. It was in a big tray. Like, they made a platform of tiramisu. Amazing. Like, easily. I still think about it. The best fish sandwich I ever had is a salmon sandwich in the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace. A little hole-in-the-wall place in the Forum Shops. And I had a salmon sandwich, oh, God, 25 years ago, 26 years ago. I still think about that sandwich. I still think about that tiramisu. I think that's one of the things that keeps us living, is trying to find the things that we once had. In Jorah, the chunky ones that were on Kronk. Kronk are similar. So yeah, very similar. Where Kronk has that mil-spec face, and then on the back it's just this one piece. And the other ones that I liked were just like this, but they had that more like of a vintage, kind of a domed, similar to the design of the Trial, but with a more domed action to it. Daphne ran them for a long time, and then they basically wore out. But yeah, the problem with these is they have a very deep recess. They do not have a lot of offset. So like a class... Did I just think class 1? I need to build another class 1, and he's going to get the... I need to build a class 1 for these wheels. But yeah, they're quite heavy for what they are. Is it worth going 4-link on a VS410? If you're in C channels, absolutely not. If you've gone to a Zoku or Rock Pirates, something like that, then yeah, it's a lot easier. Put the servo down on the axle if you can. It's gonna make things easy. It's gonna make things easy. But now I'm officially getting a tiramisu. And I'm going to make my wife buy it, and I'm going to keep the money. And we're going to spend it on toy car crap. Class 1 week, Class 1 month. Oy. Those were on Randall. Oh, that is absolutely right. Randall the Atlas. That's where they went. Are my eyes deceiving me, or are those rear tusks facing backwards? Those are absolutely facing backwards. And as Mr. Spain points out, I did that for dig. If you have tusks and your vehicle's fitted with dig, give it a try. All you have to do is take that one and put it over there, and take that one and put it over there, and you'll have them reversed. And see if you feel any difference. I personally think that because the way it moves the bars, it pivots easier. It pivots more easily. So give it a try. Working on the tanker rig. Thoughts on trying to be scale with 1.55 wheels or monster tanker Mad Max with 2.2s? 1.5s would look awesome, but as you and I both know, the availability of both rims and tires in 1.55 is catastrophic. 1.7s would be amazing, but the availability of rims and tires in 1.7 is worse than 1.55s. So I would probably just go with 1.9s. You know how I am. Because you could do a 1.9 with a black ring or a black outer or something like that and get... Well, also, how off-road is this tanker going to be? Like how... like, because, I mean, then 1.7s might be an option. I have seen knockoff versions of the semi-truck tires on 1.7s. But I don't know how a drop in the bucket for the Class 1 fun. I will take it. I'm taking the tiramisu money. I'm taking that drop in the bucket for the Class 1 money. Yeah, in Jorah 155s, and Trial makes that exact wheel in a 155. Awesome. Not incredibly expensive. But I want to say that there is not a single vehicle here running 155s. How does 4-link work with chassis mounted steering? It doesn't. You can't have 4 forward links unless that 4th link is a panhard bar. If you have the chassis, if you have the steering on the chassis, you need a panhard bar. And if you have a panhard bar, you can't have a second upper link. You can only have one. Maybe 1.7s with 155 stretched on? Maybe. I'll be trailing the tanker mostly. Won't be like in mud or anything like that. I am going to go into my browser right now, and I'm going to try to find that picture of that RC 4-wheel drive hauler. Which makes me want all of the... Oh, it's in the They sell a bed for the TRX-6, and they have a promotional picture of it, and it is intoxicating. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's not okay. Like, I don't need any of this. But my God, when you see it, does it make you want it? Let me visit the page. Okay. All right. So I'm not, this isn't even the picture I'm thinking of. And I'm not telling anybody to go out and run and buy this stuff, but oh my God. Okay. The wheels, the tires, it's, I mean, am I right? Like, how is that a TRX-6 hauler, right? But they have a picture of the one with the bed piece. They have a picture of the one with the bed piece and the headache rack. That is ridiculous. No, that's the little. That wood rear bed is $210, and then there's a whole bunch of pieces to buy for it. What is that? What do they call it a headache rack? Yeah, they do. They do. Oh, the white one. I cannot find the picture that I want to find with the hauler festooned with all of the RC four-wheel drive bits. Oh my goodness. Sorry for armsing in two sets of class ones. Yeah, I already wrote them on the board. They both, that's what, Semlamites and Kryptons. Yeah, honestly, I want to test both of those. It just, like me and class one, we're still working it out. Cross WT4 tires, wheels, potentially. Cross. Ooh, yeah! I think that's the wheel, and that looks a lot like the wheel and tire. Can you get those? I know that the 660. Holy crap, Cross. Cross needs to slow their roll. Oh, yes. He's absolutely right. There is a UTB 18 with 155s on it. I'm new to the hobby. Nice. Welcome. I have a Toyota FJ40 like yours. The figure I see in yours, did you have to modify it to fit? If so, how? Okay, first off, Mr. Hess, what you got to do is you got to find somebody in Britain. Because over in Britain, they have dollar stores. And at the dollar store, they sell these 10-inch, like, Royal Marine figures. The problem, the solitary problem with the FMS FJ40 is that it's 1/7 scale. So you basically need a 10-inch figure. Now, if you take the roof off, you can just run a Barbie-sized, G.I. Joe-sized 12-inch figure, and it will look kind of okay. Their head will go above the windshield, which is not great. But if you get a 10-inch figure, you can take a little bit off of their shin bones so that their feet can rest on the pedals. Otherwise, they will basically, like, if you just put their legs straight like that, they will fit. But, like, oh, Colin here. Colin has, let go. He's been iron gripping that. So Colin has had a little bit of his legs removed so that he can actually rest his feet. Is that algae? Look at all the plants in there. So that he can actually rest his feet on the pedals. There is his seatbelt. He is otherwise completely unmodified. He just fits in the vehicle. Hand on the shifter, hand in the window. He's ready to go. These are these, and I don't know if we can violate him. And yeah, right there, right at the top of his boot. That boot would be like full military boot height. So he's had about a 1/2 inch of his shin removed so that he can fit. So that, but strictly because of the pedals. Like at his height, he just fits in the vehicle. The solitary drawback of UK dollar store action figures is you get a military guy. You just get military guys. Like there's no, you can't get a whole wide array. You can't be like, oh, I want this figure, that figure, this figure, that figure. I have a bunch of figures under the bench because I have that invisible dollar limit that I've set on what I will spend to buy a figure. And I keep buying figures that I think that are cool and then haven't fitted them to anything. The future driver of the wife's rig is down here somewhere. The Luffy with his arms raised, this guy right here, is probably 99.9% is going to end up in as a driver for a vehicle of some sort. There's a bag on the bench where he has like 8 different kinds of hands. So he's gonna fit in something, even if we have to build it hyper specifically. Kill Fitty Man, Cotton Hill. I ain't got no legs. Didn't they just fuse his feet to his knees? So he had no ankles? Yeah, good times. This isn't helping my want for the TRX6 hauler. I don't want a TRX6 hauler at all. I want the TRX6 hauler that's completely decked out in the RC four-wheel drive stuff, which would make, we priced it up, me and the blind guy priced it up, like $1,600 or $1,700. It's untoward. Oh, man. Okay, there's the headache rack. There's a picture of the grip bars. Oh. Like, all right. Jeez. What are they doing to us? I mean, okay. Do you at this moment not want a TRX6 hauler? How about now? What? Oh my God. So that's got the headache rack and the roof rack and the bed, the wood bed, and the rims and tires. You would never guess that is a TRX6. Oh my goodness. That is, but it's CC hand stuff, man. Like the prices the prices are unforgivable. Yeah, apparently there's a couple different ones that are doing the actual rollbacks. And yeah, they are not inexpensive. Oh, there we go. There you go. There we go. You can get the whole, you can run down the list of what all this would cost. So the headache box is, the headache rack with the battery box is like $200. Then you got the rear wheel guards, side steps, the toolboxes, the hood vent, the Diamondback grill. This doesn't even have the bed in it. And then the bed's going to be like another $200. That is really something. Yeah, it's probably close to the hauler price again for the mods, at least. All I care about is the wheels. And I don't know what those wheels and tires are. Let me see. We'll do a search here. No. They got some Vitavons. Yeah, I don't know if I have ever actually located those wheels. I've seen them in altogether too much promotional imagery. By the way, the rear mud guards, the rear guards with mud flaps, $50. Front bumper, $100. Toolboxes, $65. $22 for the side view mirrors, $18 for the side steps, $29 for the grill. Wow. You would think that those wheels would just be like, oh, here's the wheels, when you do the related products search on AMain, but no such luck. Vitavon, oh God, I'm already spending enough. Yeah. They're BFG KM2s. But what size are they? Who makes them? Those wheels are the same as the thing that's on my work truck. Nice. I'd have Proline grunts in them if I had my way. Yeah. Are we crazy? Are they crazy? Crazy is certainly a spectrum. There's definitely a spectrum of crazy. Because we do things just as crazy as they do. I've been, accuracy by volume. If I had chosen a different life's path and decided to be sane and build 1 or 2 or 3 of these, I would have been voluntarily limiting my experiences, basically, because I can set up, and this isn't back patting. I'm not trying to back pat here. I mean, a little. I can set up most anything. As of recent, my ghost rides have been pretty successful because I'm just Groundhog Daying it, man. I just keep building them. Like, if you build, I've built close to 100 of these things in total, including all the ones that I've given away, or ones that have just been here to visit, or ones that came to visit and got tuned up, or whatever the selection may be. And there's still another 8 or 9 in here that need to be built, probably 10. I just watched the new MSM video. He was glazing the Giggly-Mon. But, let's be honest. If he wasn't, would you not have suspected something? You'd been like, what? I think the only Ghoulie Moo video that was unintentionally honest and informative was Harley. Because he took that thing out to his usual stomping grounds. It looked terrible. He must have rolled that thing 15 times. And I was like, yeah, that seems right. I'd be woodworking all these rigs. That's 100% right. So we're throwing SSD Pro scales at Zorana as they match, and they're an odd one. We've got a slotted piston, 4-slot. Well, first, you want to see the SSD party trick? We'll go. You can't fault him for that, right? The SSD party trick. 4-slot. We're sitting on a 3mm shaft, which is great. We see our 4 slots? Kinda. All 4 slots in there. E-clip retention, and we are using some sort of, probably relatively difficult to obtain, reduced 3mm E-clip down there. So that E-clip, look how small that E-clip is. Because the bore on this shock is 7mm. 7 is 7.5 millimeters. 7.5 mm, but of course. Why wouldn't they have been 7.5? Have you thought about grabbing footage from the lives? Yeah, immediately after this video, or after this live, is the tier list that we did last week. I just cropped it out, filmed a little intro for it, and then threw it up as an episode so that people can watch it. If you're running a TRX4 axle, you're pretty much stuck with 1.9s unless you go for a crazy offset. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's true. So that's why I'm wondering, what are those wheels? For full droop with Desert Lizards, the spring goes under the piston. Or the other way around. So you would have... Do I have something disassembled? Not enough. So the shock is upside down like this. So here's your Desert Lizard. For full droop, so here's the piston down here. The spring is above the piston. That will be full droop. Because that will push it closed. And then force will pull it open, and then the spring will push it back closed. And then if you want to go half droop, you run the medium spring above the piston and the small spring below the piston. Medium droop and half droop. I feel like baseline needs to be seen. That little workhorse is perfection. I'd love a completed parts list that a person could build their own baseline truck. Mr. Turner. So here is the man of dirt himself. You can see baseline only gets spa days, so he's usually absolutely filthy. So that rear axle is completely bone stock from when he was born. No changes. I think I did take the fake brake rotors off because they kept getting in the way. He's running the very first set of Chavtecs that I ever got. He's had his links replaced to the correct length. When the first round of SEs came out, Sendero SEs, the wheelbase on the chassis didn't match the wheelbase on the body. They shipped a 12.3 rig with a 12.8 body. So your choices were either cut out the fender well or lengthen the links. If you buy one today, you don't need to change the links. The links are correct. So these front links are the exact length of the links that came on him when he was born, and the rear links stretch the wheelbase a half an inch so that he fit the body. In the front, he has a trial housing. Basically, all of the parts of his front end, save for the knuckles, have been replaced. You need to go to an alloy C-hub, an alloy or brass C-hub, and it is better to just start off by spending the $125 on an alloy housing and a machined ring and pinion. But I mean, in terms of geometry, setup, layout, and all that stuff, this is a Sendero SE. He's got the 12%, so I put the gears from a Stealth X into the XF. But as far as what has been changed, this is the body he was born with. All of the plastics, I mean, both of his bumpers broke off. So you just drill them out, put a set screw in there, and then repair them. We only replace parts on him when basically necessary. Servo and axle, you know, I'm using that bracket because the bracket that came on the SE axle wouldn't fit this axle. I had to make my own bracket for this axle because no servo on axle bracket would fit this axle. Now, if you're not driving your vehicle as frequently as he gets driven, you can probably get away with not running an alloy housing. Just put a factory team housing on it. They're about $10, the dark gray plastic. But you will want to go to an alloy or brass C-hub. If there's added metal in the front, C-hubs, and get ahead and put the machined ring and pinion in the front. Because you will eat them. And he ate 3 or 4 of them. But he has a lot of time on him. I think I figured out what the wheel tire combo is in that TRX6. RC 4-wheel drive diesel beadlock 1.7 with 155 KM2 stretched on them. That's got to be what it is. Nice. I kind of want a set of those. What is the most important criteria you use when choosing a crawler chassis? Link geometry, forward skid placement, and angle. Are we talking about a C-channel chassis or are we talking about a flat plate chassis? Relevant. I meant to ask, do you still have the shift servo box full of Desert Lizard springs I sent in with the temper? I was just curious if they ever got separated into your spring collection. It's probably in here somewhere, but I couldn't tell you where. I'm looking around. It probably got... No, that's a... I mean, there's a lot of boxes in here. It's in here somewhere. Oh, let me phrase it for you in a different way. Are you telling me that you need Desert Lizard springs? Because if you're telling me that you need Desert Lizard springs, this is about 1/5 of my Desert Lizard springs. I have a box probably about 5 inches by 5 inches by 5 inches, almost entirely full of Desert Lizard springs. And then seals, pistons. Just look how many pistons. I've bought my share of desert lizards. So yeah, if you need some springs, I can get you some springs. Yeah, evening all stream on, but I'm watching my son. He banged his head today, bless him. Oh, man. Well, I mean, that's what kids do, right? Kids fall down and they bump their heads. And they are incredibly resilient. Those beadlocks seem to be discontinued. Of course. Another noob here. I followed the Sandy series, got inspired and made my own version out of an RTR. Couldn't find a kit. Really hard to find the kits. Do you have any ideas about how I can improve the steering angle? On a TRX4 axle, not really. The steer angle on a TRX4 axle is probably the biggest drawback to the steer. I mean, you can put G2 hubs on it. That'll help. But you just get ahead of it. Go on Amazon if you haven't already. AMK sells the 4 gears together, where it will be 2 rings and 2 pinions, and it will be the overdrive for the front and the underdrive for the rear, which will get you a net of about 21%. Put that 21% in there, and it will sharpen your turning radius up enough that you'll forget that you're running TRX4 axles. That's, I mean, in the regular TRX4s, they have lockers to take to account for that. But yeah, improving steering axle on a TRX4 axle isn't really a thing. Primarily because they use a CVD instead of a universal, and a CVD has less throw angle than a universal. On a flat plate, okay. On a flat plate, I'm basically looking for adjustability. The more link mount holes you're going to give me, the more shock mount holes you're going to give me, the better. Some places are better at it than others. Some places, it's almost as if they never assembled the vehicle in its whole person, and then they just sent it off to the laser place and had them cut out and then just went with it. I want to see something like on this Zoku running 95s, we're middle row, 1/4 of the middle hole, which means with a 90, we'll either be there or there. We'll be in one of those 4 holes in that grid. The 95 in the front is top row all the way back. A 90 will be middle row right in the middle, because it was kind of built for 90s, because the vehicle comes with 90s or 80s on a portal. Be fine. 95s are too long for that. So a lot of chassis don't give you that room for adjustment. He's got how many front link mount holes? 4 in the front, 10, 11, 12 in the rear. You need a lot more rear link mount positions in the rear than you do in the front, because link separation is very important to the way the vehicle handles. Most times, I'll be as honest as about my unscientific method as I can, which is I don't look at much any of it. I look at the chassis and I go, that will suit my needs, or it won't. And that's where we end up. Also, I look at the price. Like, if it's a $60 chassis set, I'm just going to order it and give it a try. I have a couple of element kits, but I may break down and buy an SE. I bought 3 Fusion SEs before they went up in price. Nice! That box had all my spare seals and optional pistons when I sent it to you, so you have all my spare parts. I'll let you, you're giving out tires again, and I'll remind you. I will look. It wherever that box is. Oh man. Ooh. Wherever that box is, it still has all those parts in it. I just found a bunch of UTB-18 parts from the UTB-18 that got turned into the V1B. I just found that box, like yesterday. Did you mess with the Zoom mic I sent you? Pro Audio has a learning curve, but easy once you try it. I set it up on camera 2 because I didn't want to compromise my primary audio, because I want to know, I have an audio source that's working. That that microphone is sensitive. It picked up everything. Figuring out how to integrate that thing is something that I'm going to get into, because for me, audio is every bit as big of a portion of production as the visuals, sometimes more. I've noticed that if a video I'm watching has really shaky video, I'll let it go. But if it's got terrible audio throughout, I'm not on board. Do Desert Lizard Spring fit inside the RC Lion's knockoff internal spring shocks? I don't know. I wish I could tell you. But I've only ever tried Desert Lizards. Have you tried the IERC replacement chassis for the Sendero SE? No, I have not. So if IERC is making it, that should just be a replacement for any Element, because the Sendero SE, basically Element is Vanquish. Vanquish only has a single C channel, VS410. All Element has is the Enduro chassis. It's the same chassis on every vehicle. They just have a bunch of holes in the back to move the rear shock towers forward or rear to set the wheelbase. When is someone going to make an actual RC Lion? That's a good question. The question not enough people are asking. So if we're going to fit these, if we're going to set these up, and I can tell you one thing, which is this. They run a seal pack, which is not, like, you're not taking these seals out and putting Traxxas seals in it. We've got a fair proprietary. We've got a seal cap. We've got a step one in there. It looks like Delrin. And then we've got these little, they look like an X-ring. They're at least X-ring adjacent. Let's see if I can get one out. There we go. There's an X-ring and a spacer. They are quite small and fairly thin. So if it were coming to rebuilding that, I'm not 100% sure how you would do it. Now, then we're placing all of our hopes and dreams on them holding their life's blood inside. And I can tell you also, I said I could tell you one thing, I can tell you more than one. There's no bleed line, there's no bleed screw, there's no mechanism to get oil out over the threads. So this is going to be the, I need to go over here, need to reach, and then we're back. This is going to be the whole mess of paper towels to get these full of oil. Can you make affiliate links for Amazon Spain? We can find out. Post a link in the chat to something you're looking for on Amazon España, and I will click it and I will see if I can generate an affiliate link. I want to say I'm probably only Amazon US, but I don't know. Yeah, $60 isn't that bad. Oh, Tamiya did make an RC Tiger. Is the Fusion 8 a big upgrade from the Fusion Pro? The Fusion 8 feels exactly like a Fusion Pro, but on all of the HDGH and steroids that one can imagine. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. The list of vehicles, like the things like the Gulimu, are a perfect application for the Fusion 8. Putting the Fusion 8 in something basically, I would say anything under 9 pounds, it's too much. It's putting a V8 in a Honda Civic. Cool, but ultimately probably not producing. A-Main told me that the OT6 kits are coming in 25 kits at a time. They're expecting a shipment next week, and I'm number 3 on the list. Hey, you're finally going to get it. I will ask for it later. I need some lipos already. I was going to mount one of my shiny new Fusion SEs on one of my rigs and saw that as an XT60. I'm not going to bother soldering XT60s on the old batteries. Tanker rig's getting an 8. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just going to buy lipos already, too. The L'Oreal paycheck is flying away fast. Mr. Spain is, he's cosplaying adulthood already. Before that money comes in, it's gone. People of a certain age, and I think that's a lot of you, you will understand this. I just had to add one of my kids to the primary auto insurance policy. What I am paying now per month for auto insurance for 3 vehicles and 3 people would have made 25-year-old me curl up into the fetal position and weep. Because it is an unconscionable number. It is more than we pay for electricity. It is certainly more than we pay in a month for food. We have a single bill per month larger than what I am paying for automobile insurance. And that bill is called my mortgage, which literally translates to death contract or death note. It's one or the other. So there's that. Let me put it to you this way. I could build 2 rigs a month. Whoa. Hey! How did I do that? I haven't seen these in forever. Hey, they're back. How did it get me? I was down here and we got the balloons. I was like, 2 of these. I don't remember how to do the fireworks either. But yeah. Oh, it is a racket. Yeah. You have to have it, but whatever you do, don't use it. Yeah. My mortgage payment and my car insurance are almost the same. Wild. I mean, I know that I have said what a time to be alive, but what a time to be alive. I don't even know how I made it. I don't even know how I made it do it. Hey! There's fireworks too, but I can't do the fireworks. Yeah, and I'm in Southern California, so we're not allowed to complain about anything because they'll come and cancel your homeowner's insurance and claim you live in a fire area, even though the area you're in has never burned and can't. But they'll be like, so we're sorry. Can't cover. Now you got to get that governmental supplemental insurance. My dad refused me and added to his auto insurance, said nobody ever helped him, so he won't help me. Your dad wasn't born in like the 40s or 50s, was he? That sounds like somebody that was born in the 40s or 50s. We pay $130 a month for car insurance. Sir, we pay over $130 a week for car insurance. But it's California, and we have no choices. We have no real choices in the matter. I used to live in Rancho Cucamonga on the hill. Yeah, they'll get you. They'll try to claim fire zone on you. The people here in Highland, right up the street, that fire, the line fire, started right next to their houses. So they really got taken. What sort of shock vibration damping do you have on the in-car cams? None. There's the internal damping, the Sony IS, the image stabilization in that. I also don't run anything like the smoothness of the picture from the GoPro is purely done digitally by the GoPro. And the smoothness of the picture inside Bruce, I thought Bruce's footage was going to be terrible. But those Sonys, I wish they hadn't stopped making them. He was born in 1939. Yeah. Which means his dad was born, before things like the motor car. So, yeah, nobody ever helped me. And then they just keep passing it down. And I kind of got to the same thing to me. San Diego, 7 cars for $400 a month, and that includes my house. That would be the difference between San Diego and here. Our property insurance, our homeowners, doubled in 3 years, and then in the following 2 years, doubled again. And then the auto insurance, I don't even want to talk about it. 40s and 50s, where you could get a job at 15 and be a homeowner by 18. Yeah. When my grandparents moved out here to the West Coast, when they bought their house, the house that I spent part of my youth growing up in, they bought that house for $4,800. They actually had that house built. I have a newer Subaru Forester, a Harley, and a homeowner's policy, and I pay $150 a month in Pennsylvania. Yeah, but then I'd have to move to Pennsylvania. Yeah. It's California, man. It's California. But, okay, here's the thing. It does sound like a good time to move. What you have to take into consideration is everything you're seeing right now is made possible, not completely, but in very large part, the lady who goes trailing with me on Sundays. The lady who goes trailing with me on Sundays has a real job, like a real job. Like, she has a lanyard where they hold it up to the thing and the doors go and you go in, and she has 130 some employees under her and administrative assistants and managers and all of that stuff, right? My wife's got a real job, not a 9-to-5 job, as they say. She is a salaried employee with all of the things that go with being a salaried employee, meaning she has a regular phone and a work phone, and work for the day is done when work for the day is done, that type of a thing. So she makes the money to afford all of this, as well as like, if this came to infringe, she said this needs to pay for this, and it does, and comfortably. And let me tell you, I'm pulling up a chair. Let me tell you, when you get into the depths of something like this, when you start doing this stuff, when you get into this stuff, it can get out of hand real fast. Particularly with Amazon, A-Main, all of those things. Not counting stuff like the cameras. I'm just talking about tires. You see something on sale, boom, bam, all of that stuff, right? My wife is proof of how relationships work, right? We are very different people, right? So we're kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. We have similar sensibilities, but like in terms of what she does for a living, I would not be able to do it for a day. Much of her day is meetings. And many of the meetings are about meetings and or bureaucracy and or whatever. And there's no way. And she works within a chain of command, and she has subordinates who must be dealt with. It's crazy. How does Toy Car Affiliates YouTube income? I get W-2s. I get 5 W-2s. It's regular money, like everybody else. You just pay taxes on it like everybody else. But I make, let me put it to you this way. I make in a year what she makes by the end of February. Maybe first 2 weeks of March. So I make in 52 weeks what she makes in 10 weeks. Is about the speed of it. And I've said it actively and openly because people, it used to come up in the chat a lot more, where people say, what do you do? How do you afford this? Well, the answer to the latter question is, you're in it. You're part of it right now. We've congealed together as an island of misfit toys, and we make the things. We perpetuate this circle of crawling, where I've got a couple of boxes at the end of the bench that are going out to people. Stuff comes in here, stuff goes out. We do this thing. I mind my business. And, oh, hey, 36 years married. We are 33 this year. It'll be 33 years in December. So she has been, we have reversed roles, right? She is the breadwinner and always has been since basically after high school. Every job she's had, she's made more than me, because as self-deprecating as she is, and that's generationally based, and that's part of her Catholic upbringing, to be self-deprecating and have self-loathing and self-doubt all the time. But she's always been very good at all of her jobs. She has never been fired from a job. She is a solid employee, where at the typically what will happen is she will get told you should really take some vacation time because it's starting to backlog up, and we don't want you to be like, yeah, I'm taking 90 days off. So she is the responsible one, and I am chronically irresponsible for whatever reason. And it started with my first job directly out of high school, which was I can't work for a boss. I can't be told what to do. Micromanagement. Oh God. How about if somebody comes and tells you that they have a better way to do something? How about if somebody tells you they have a better way to do something that you've done 10,000 times? And you're like, look, I'm energy conserving by nature. If there was an easier, faster, more efficient way to do this, I would do it that way, right? I don't like situations where there's a more right or less wrong way to do things. There is the correct way, or the way that there's the way that I'm doing it. That is the correct way, because that is the method. I've been self-employed largely for, this counts as self-employment. I'm a non-participatory Google employee. Could I live on the money I make off this? Not in California. Not in California. So YouTubers, I've been very curious about this. I need to meet my counterpart that lives in, I don't know, what's a place? Mississippi. I need to find the Mississippi version of me. Do they pay less on ad revenue? Or does a guy on YouTube in Mississippi make the same amount that I do? Because if he does, that dude's bringing it in with a rake. My girlfriend is technically the breadwinner and pay anyways, but she's terrible with money, and I shop sales for my hobby. She doesn't. If she needs it, she buys it and has buyer's remorse after. I think that's just what is that, double X? That's the double X chromosome. That's how they operate. I think buyer's remorse is hardwired into every woman. I could be sexist, but so with a 2-pounder, we've got a 2-pounder. It's going to be way too heavy for this. We're running, I believe these are just softs all the way around. I think those are just blues. Blue Band Deluxe. That is probably actually also a little under. We can stiffen it up a little. But I stream on Kick and I'm a partner on D Live, but I don't make much. I've been self-employed for so long I could never work for someone else. Yeah, it's crazy. The best straight job I ever had was, what did they used to call it? Work study. When you were going to college, if you proved that you didn't make a lot of money, and I made basically no money when I was in college, you could get on what was called work study. I'm sure they still do it now, which is jobs on campus, which is, if you ever wonder how they get kids to work in the cafeteria and the bookshop and all that stuff, it's through work study. So I got jobs through work study, and I did 4 work study jobs. One, you could only do them for so long. I don't know how the system works. So you could only do them for so long. And I had 4 work study jobs while I went to uni, as they would call it, across the pond. And some of them were the best jobs I ever had. I had a job as a lab monitor in the Visual Arts Complex, which meant you got to wear a lanyard and unlock doors for people. It was great. I got to design and produce the pieces for a 3D model of the university. And then when I found out that it was going to be one of those architectural models with no color or anything, I was like, boo. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I had the best of them. I got to be, for over a year of my life, I got to be a library page in the library at the California State University at San Bernardino. And it was the best. Because people just left you alone. You were tasked with shelving library books. And this is before the internet was all-knowing and all-encompassing. So we still had a card catalog. They were in the process of converting the card catalog over to digital, but people still checked books out of libraries and read those books and used them to write papers. So working in the library was amazing. And I am a person who is energy conserving. So we had these carts. Imagine, if you will, pardon, I need a cough button. Imagine a cart that has 4 racks on it, and they're angled like this. 2 tiers, 2 racks per side. Each shelf could hold, I would say, about 40 books. 80 books per side. Not Dewey, Library of Congress. So you would have about 80 books per side, 160 books on a cart. When finals time would come along, any of that stuff would happen. The book carts, when books came into the drop, people drop, they check them back in, they go through the drop, they dump them into these big rolly bins that look like something that they would use at a laundry. And then someone else, one of the other pages, would take them out and just throw them onto these carts. And they would wheel the carts down to the end where the page station was. And then somebody would grab a cart and they'd go up 5-story building, split into 2 wings, and you would go and you would shelve the books. And when a librarian is just throwing books onto the cart, they're taking books that will fill the cart and they're just filling the cart and then they're rolling it down to the end. So I would sit down there and you'd have to check people in and out. Like if somebody set off the alarm, you had to fill out a form because they thought they were stealing a book. Or if somebody came in anyway, there was forms and you basically just watched the front door. Watching the front door is fine because you can be very mindless. It is not a mindful task. It is a mindless one. And there's nothing explicitly wrong with a mindless task. It allows your mind to be occupied on other things. I would have all of my homework, quizzes, papers, everything done before I even went within 100 yards of my car. I would finish my final class. I would go to the library. I would finish all of my work done and then have another 3 hours of work where I get paid $17 an hour to sit and watch people come in and out of a building. So while I'm sitting there, my brain had already absorbed the Library of Congress filing system, which is like 705 dot something, right? All numbers. And you learn how those numbers go, and then you learn what floors they go on. Thankfully, praise Jesus, I have not retained any of it because it would be occupying far too much space in an already addled brain. But I could just tell. I could see a book and be like, you get out of the elevator on the 4th floor, you make a left, you go over 5 racks, it's right there. So I would recart the books in order. So like you would grab a cart and you would go up and you would shelve that cart in 10 minutes because people were grabbing carts and going up and shelving them, and it would take 2.5 hours to shelf that cart because they're just wandering around the library, going up the elevator, down the elevator, up the elevator, down the elevator. So I was sorting these carts out, and one of the other pages was there, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, sorting the carts because the system that they use here is not a system. It is what we in the industry call infuriation. So I was sorting these carts, and the pages would come in, and all the carts would be shelved within the first hour of us showing up at like 5 p.m. And you know what the people over at the desk didn't like? That's too fast. We're not on board for that level of efficiency. Why are you guys working so fast? Now it just looks like you're sitting around. And I'm like, oh my God. So then I was shelving books, and somebody would ask me, hey, where do I find a book on Renaissance art? And I'm like, oh, that's in the art books. That's on the 5th floor. Get on the elevator, go up to the 5th, doors open, make a left. You'll go straight over. This is over here. It's right there. It'll be like 2nd or 3rd rack. They're like, thanks. And then that person foolhardily went downstairs. Somebody at the desk said, did you have any trouble finding anything? And they were like, no. There was a lovely gentleman up there that told me exactly where to find this. The librarians don't walk the stacks. So they know that somebody that wasn't a librarian told somebody where to find the book. So I got a talking to. And they said, only librarians tell people where to find the books. And I said, so what you're telling me is, if a patron approaches me on the 5th floor of this building and asks me where I can find a book that is 30 feet away from where I'm standing, you want me to tell them to get in the elevator, go to the lobby, walk up, wait in line, go to the desk, ask you where to find a book so that they can go over, take the elevator back up, and find the book that's 30 feet away from where I'm standing. And I was like, you're driving the train of a dying industry. Libraries will be gone. They will be forgotten within a decade. It's definitely true now. And you're getting uppity because you have a degree in this and you don't know what you're going to do with yourself 10 years from now. And that's basically how I end up not working at the places that I end up not working. So what I found about the SSDs when I was looking around is the lightest and or softest spring that I've got in full diameter right now are these 1.5s. And the 1.5 might work on the rear, maybe on the rear we can lean them over a little bit much. But what I did find is, unlike a Traxxas GTS, these are a little bit of a thinner wall, a little bit thinner of a wall. So what you do is you do the SSD trick, whiz, goes down there to the bottom. You grab yourself some of those 10 by 50 springs that come on the long Chavtex, the ones that you have absolutely nothing to do with. And then watch this. What? We're going to put a little deluxe spring cap on the bottom. And then we're going to thread this rod end on. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a mini sprung. We have a 10 millimeter sprung shock. Adjustable. We can adjust the damping. We can alter our ride. Well, we can't adjust damping. We can alter the ride height. We can alter the ride height on a 10 millimeter spring shock. Look at that. So the SSDs kind of went out in one direction and then swung back around for me, because I was like, it's either that or you loosen the bottom caps and put little O-rings on to space them up. When a servo browns out, is that due to a weak BEC or quality of the servo? That is a servo requesting more than the BEC can provide. So it is, in simplest terms, it is a power hungriness of the servo. It doesn't mean that this. Well, I guess it could mean that the BEC is weak. The BEC is underpowered, or the servo is asking for too much. Okay, we just learned minor secondary drawback here. This rod end does not fit the hollow ball that we specifically need for Vanquish axles, which are these offset ones with the deluxe ones. So this guy is like, that will pop out immediately. It's not really a problem. That's not a problem. But it is, because let's view it as what it is. That is something that is almost letter specific to what we're doing right now. If you're not fitting these to F10s, it's not going to be a problem. And if you have a bin of rod ends, you can just grab another like that. I mean, focus! We got pretty close. It's closely enoughly. I just got done reading The Stand, best book I ever read. Stephen King's. It's a good book. I haven't read it in a long time. I've read most of the Stephen King of the I don't know what would we call that era, the golden era. So in the Cujo, Carrie, in that era, a bunch of Clive Barker as well. That is something I need to know. What kind of gear lube do I need to put in my axles? I prefer, my strong preference is Stay Lube CV joint grease. You can find it at any auto parts store as well as on Amazon. It is the grease that has the highest percentage of, I won't say it right, molybdenum. The highest percentage of molybdenum, which means it stays. I don't like molybdenum. Ugh. I spit it out of my mouth. It has the highest percentage of it. But should you not be able to get a hold of that for wherever you are, Lucas Red and Tacky, any tube of white marine grease, whatever grease you like. I prefer the high moly because it sticks on the gears longer. It is personal preference at worst, and at best it's because it works better. And if you're a normie, a 4-ounce or 8-ounce tube of it. Don't go to Advanced Auto Parts; you can't get it there. I go to O'Reilly, and some places, if you're lucky, you can get it in a tub. Locally, I've only seen it in the tube. No tub, only tube. Also, these shocks use Delrin upper pivotty balls that are 6mm, which doesn't help a lot of us. Redline makes a higher moly content CV grease, but it's stupid expensive and hard to find. Yeah, O'Reilly or AutoZone, but our AutoZone is, I think, prototypical of many AutoZones where they tend not to have anything. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Waterproofing, non-emulsifying grease for axles that are going to get wet. Yeah, I mean, you can just get yourself marine grease. Can someone send me the link to the Scarlet Canyon video grading axles? Should be up in the there's a playlist on the channel called Tier Lists. It's in there. You know what? That looks pretty good. Ooh, that doesn't feel bad either. You can see how much there's a bit more damping. That's not shucks. What is a shucks? Basically, I would go so far as to say that I don't think you can actively, directly compare a bladdered axle and an emulsion axle. Emulsion axle is really kind of its own. I mean, shock. I'm on the axle thing. An emulsion shock and a bladdered shock are two quite very different things. Oh, and boy, more springs for the spring rack, and some nice cups. I need to build a rig that needs 2 pound per inch springs. Wait, I'm a mod. The AutoZone by me is filled with people who prefer to not know you exist, and if you ask for help looking for something, they just walk away and say nothing. You might shop at my AutoZone. One thing I'd love to switch Desert Lizards to is the hollow metal. Okay, I can tell you one thing. How bold do you feel, and what level of performance, what level of equipment do you possess? You can flat top Desert Lizard shocks on a lathe, drill a hole from the inside, and just attach a rod end like this to the top of the shock, much like how you would with a DravTech. I have done it. There's plenty of meat still left at the top of the shock body, but I would also go so far as to say you pretty much need a lathe to do it. So if you have a lathe, Problem solved. If you do not, I have not helped you in any way. I mistakenly bought a set of Class 1 Megalithics. What would be a good trail truck to use them on? Okay. The C1 Meg is the king of Class 1 tires. Is it worth it to put normal ends on Desert Lizards? In very limited situations. Like if you want to run them upside down on F10s, if you want to run them upside down on any double shear axle, it kind of is worth it to put the ends on them. But for 99% of cases, probably not. Probably not. Now, if you were standing in here with the building with me and said, hey, can you flat top these Desert Lizards for me? I could literally do it in 10 minutes. So, but I do have a hammer and a drill. Yeah, sure. Actually, if you had a disc sander and a drill, that'll do it as well. You just need something to remove the eyelet from the top, and then you need to drill a hole through it. I use Park bike grease. Yeah, bike grease will be lithium based. It will help repel water. Park bike grease and a lot of the what is that bike grease that comes in the dark? It's like green. It comes in a dark green container. It's definitely lithium based. It's waterproof as hell. Phil Wood would probably be great. Got a Fusion update. The only thing Red Cat left is the diff, carbon rails, and spur gear. There you go. There you go. Carl Class 0 or Class 0 Super Swampers for 1/18th Capra. What tire would you recommend? 1/18 Capra? Honestly, the 393 Rovers, you'll just go up anything. Other than that, it kind of looks best on 155s. But if you're looking for just absolute pure performance, I'm going to go with Rovers, 19 Rovers, which are still pretty easy to get because I don't think a lot of people are rushing around buying 3.93 Rovers. They're like, what am I going to use that for? Have you seen the new RC systems being developed? Advanced radio controllers. Arse doesn't get used enough here. You didn't read all of the comments there about the Desert Wizard chucks and the Hall Buzz. Oh. You have like $55 for coffee. I don't want to be the one to tell you this, but I will. Okay, no. We'll do an over-under. We haven't had a poll this week. Here it comes. Bam. All right. Ooh, who's the top fan? It's Organized Chaos. 3 people tied at 225. No idea what it means. J Concepts discontinued the Bounty Hunter. I'm really not surprised. They're great. The fact that you can build a TRX4 from Jenny's with sport axles on a 2-speed for cheaper than you can buy an RTR has me sold to build a high KB basher, yes. Yeah, just one weekly coffee drink. That is voluntary. That is self-imposed because I would drink one a day, and I am confident in my estimate that it's at least 700 calories. That drink has to be 700 calories. If I drank one a day, I'd be heavy breathing right now. I don't drink coffee either, Mr. Hess. I go to a place called Coffee Clatch, and I get a thing called the Patio Special, which, follow along with me, is a shot of espresso, ice cream, and an Oreo cookie. Put that all in a blender. The Oreo cookie is the secret ingredient. You blend that all together, and there you have it. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And we used to drive great distances. The nearest Clatch to us used to be in San Dimas, which is about 40 miles away. And we would drive to San Dimas in the olden times. In the olden times. We would drive to San Dimas to get a coffee drink. Or if we were anywhere in that area, we would need no excuse to stop at the Clatch and get a Patio Special. And then, just last year, they opened one 4 miles from my house, and it's a problem. It's truly a problem. That's a dessert, not a coffee. 100%. 100%. There isn't any inkling to pull out any of your bashers when you go on a walk on Wednesday. You know, I hadn't thought about it until you said it right now. And here's the reason. Man, we get so accustomed to eternal battery life. Big Bruce, rolling slow on a Fusion, can get 4 miles out of a 4200 pack. I don't know if I own enough Big Basher 3S packs to get one of my rigs through a full session out there. Do I want to? Sure. Who would I take? I don't know. They would fight. Double shot espresso caramel frappe. I pay $40 for a box of 100 Keurig, get 2 a day. Yeah, the wife has coffee every morning ever since she lost her ever-loving mind and started working out 5 days a week. She drinks 2 cups of coffee a day, one first thing in the morning with coconut oil in it, and one right before workout as her pre-workout. She just drinks straight coffee. I get like 30-minute runtime on my UDR with a 6000. That's not bad. I drink a couple pots a day. BLD Designs is carrying with him the spirit of my grandmother. My grandmother drank what I called trucker coffee, which is when you'd pour it out of the carafe and then set it back down, you could watch that ring of coffee go back down the sides of the container. And I have those fond childhood memories of the once a week when she would run the straight vinegar through the coffee pot to descale it. Yeah. She drank jet black coffee every day. That was when I definitely learned that coffee smells significantly better than it tastes. And more than once, I've been a guest at a wedding, and the only options for drinks are like rose water and coffee. And I would just keep adding creamers and sugars till it became palatable. And that was when I knew for sure that I am not a coffee drinker. Because when you've put 6 creamers in a cup of coffee, are you drinking coffee anymore? I mean, Like, just get your caffeine in another way. I drink 5 pots of motor oil. The stuff could stand up itself without a pot or a cup. Yeah, that was my grandmother's coffee. You could stand a spoon in it. Lemon mint water. Ugh! Jeez. Sorry, just jumped in. What are those wheels? What I did, you can get 6-spoke deep oil slicks on Amazon. And then I got these little scalloped guys on Amazon as well and just bashed them together. Because they have 6 scallops and they match up with the 6 holes. But yeah, it's just all Amazon with some Injora Black hardware in them. Typical Canyon Kit Bash wheels. Yeah, might as well just drink the creamers. I used to need a coffee or 2 every day. One summer later, after sleeping like 11 hours a day, my body started working properly without coffee. Yeah. I was a caffeine guy. I was a 6-pack a day Dr. Pepper man until they took carbonation away from me. And then I replaced it with iced tea and food, a lot of food. I put on like 50 pounds. Because if you're drinking 6-pack a day of Dr. Pepper, you're taking in like 900 hollow sugar calories. And then they take those calories away, and then you replace them with actual, real physical calories, and then you become fat. But you still need the caffeine because, you know, they can say caffeine is not addictive until the cows come home, and I will offer a differing perspective, you know, waking up with a splitting headache. So caffeine is absolutely addictive, and I was addicted to it. And the beauty of it is maybe it's not addictive by their classification, because if you stop having it, you don't die. You don't like have the DTs or anything. So I got so tired of having to clean out the iced tea machine, and I just didn't want to go through the hassle of making it anymore. So every morning I get out of bed, I have a PG Tips Gold, I have a cup of tea, milk and sugar, and that's my sole caffeine intake for the day, because I can't have carbonation, so it's really easy to avoid all the other caffeines. And coffee tastes horrendous, like actual coffee. Even if you get bougie coffee, there's the list of things that I would rather drink is long. So I'm not a coffee drinker. My caffeine addiction's bad enough that coffee doesn't touch me to keep the freaking withdrawal headaches. Like, I've got to have like 1 Monster a day and no other caffeine to keep it away. Wow. What's an iced tea machine? It literally makes iced tea. Like, you'd put these giant discs in there that are specifically made for iced tea machines, and it would brew you like 2 liters, like a half gallon of iced tea. And then you put the pitcher in the fridge, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. And it helped maintain my caffeine addiction for several years. My wife works with people who get up in the morning, have a coffee. On the way to work, stop at Starbucks, get a coffee. At lunch, stop by the Dutch Brothers, have a coffee. While they're during the workday, White Monster, you know. On the way home, either another energy drink or another coffee drink. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be like some kind of sissy or anything, but I'm pretty sure that most of those women are really exceeding the amount of caffeine that a typical person is supposed to intake during a day. Because I think they say if you want to stay sane and coherent, you need to stay below 400 milligrams of caffeine a day. And as a person who, on a typical day, intakes about 60 milligrams of caffeine for an entire day, this is the only day of the week where every Friday, I double up. I have however much caffeine is in a shot of espresso. Yeah, people go to Starbucks not because it's good. People go to Starbucks for the same reason that they go to McDonald's, because it is convenient and it is familiar. If you go to any, like if you're a person like me who doesn't like coffee, and I don't like coffee, go to a bougie coffee place. Every town has got one. Every town has multiple, because coffee is a damn industry. You go to one of those places and say, you walk up to the guy and say, I don't like coffee, here's what I like. And it's like the whiskey snobs, but with coffee. That dude will make you something that you will probably like. And then you're spending $7 a pop on it. So maybe just don't do that. Maybe just stay home. I tried coffee once in 1978. I didn't like it, and I haven't had any since then. Yeah, 1,200 milligrams of caffeine. Like I say, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. I'm not trying to Karen you, but 1,200 milligrams a day, brother, is going to catch up to you. That is going to catch up to you. And I can say that because all of my youthful indiscretions have already come to catch up on me. Oh, I could argue, Mr. Scribner, probably most any coffee is better than Starbucks. But do you know where you can get a Starbucks? Anywhere. Literally anywhere. Turn your head. There's probably a Starbucks over there. People don't buy it because it's good. They buy it because they can just get them. Yeah, so the place I go, the Clatch, they like have their own roasters and do their own coffee and do all that stuff, right? Bougie. And they'll have Starbucks people that have just experienced, maybe they didn't want to wait in the line outside the Dutch Brothers of the Starbucks. So they'll come over to the Clatch and they'll say, I want this drink with like a quad shot in it. And the guy goes, no, you don't. And they're like, yes, that's my drink every day. And he goes, no, you're drinking the coffee flavored piss water that they vend to you over at the Starbucks. He goes, this is real espresso here, and you won't like it. He goes, I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a double. I'll put a double shot in here for you, and then you tell me what you think. And that guy gets that guy or gal gets their double shot, and they take a drink of it, and they make the emoji face where their eyes get really wide, and they're like, holy crap. And he's like, yeah, like, we make coffee here. So it's like people, how many people have you experienced in your life? I think everybody's met one. Everybody's met at least one where the person goes, oh, I don't like fish. And you go, oh, really? What have you had? And they're like, tuna fish. Well, that makes sense. Like, tuna is like the fishiest fish. Especially tuna out of a can is the fishiest fish you can possibly have. There's a lot of tremendous fish out there in the world. So saying I don't like coffee, which I often say, is like saying I don't like fish. I do like coffee. I like a little bit of coffee and a lot of ice cream. That's how I like my coffee. How do you like your coffee? With about 70% ice cream in it. I don't like, for me, and I know it is extreme and stringent, strident, if you like coffee, you like a jet black cup of coffee. That means you like coffee. If it's got sugar and whatever, all the other stuff in it, you like caffeine. You don't like coffee. You like caffeine. My girlfriend doesn't like fish, but she doesn't like fried stuff. She likes tuna, though. Yeah, no, she thinks she doesn't like fish. Like, tuna is the fishiest fish you can possibly get. For me, the top rung is swordfish. I'm a swordfish man. Because swordfish has the texture of a steak. It's ocean steak, baby. It's very expensive. Halibut is excellent. Salmon. I like a lot of fish. And the wife is both carb cycling. She's doing a whole bunch of nonsense all stacked on top of each other. That feels a little stiff. There we go. We won't actually know until we have all four shocks on. And then I can do I can do a droop test and see if all four corners are hanging the same. Yeah, a couple black tar. Yeah, see, Lee Jordan likes coffee, right? If he likes a straight black coffee, no sugar, no milk, he likes coffee. I'm not sure, 100% sure I like tea. I drink a tea every morning, but I have milk and sugar in it, right? Straight tea, I drink my iced tea black. I don't like sweet teas, so maybe I do. Like a buddy of mine won't drink hot beverages. Not even hot chocolate, which is wild. Who doesn't like hot chocolate? Look up Camp Coffee and give that a go. Concentrated liquid gold, also good for flavoring cakes and stuff. Huh. Oh, I love catfish. Pro Raptor is allergic to caffeine. I'd be dead. I would have been dead. I would have taken a very different trajectory because I've been intaking caffeine for entirely too long. Just not via coffee. I went a long time not counting. I still don't count calories now. I like coffee ice cream. Yeah. Earl Grey decaf. Oh, I drink tea like an Englishman? Milk and sugar. I don't make it like an Englishman, though. I make it like... Well, Guy Martin is an Englishman, but I make it like Guy Martin. Because he believes that the way he makes his tea is an emulsion. And it would offend most... actual tea drinkers. But I'm an American, so I can get away with it. I get more false indications from my camera outside this building. And I keep telling it incorrect report, and it just keeps doing it. I think it's seeing shadows. I don't know what it's saying. I grew up on camp coffee. Joys of growing up on an army camp. Yeah, I didn't grow up on coffee at all. And anything that's an acquired taste. Like, I don't even like the smell of beer. So, beer is definitely not my jam. But, I get it. I'm not telling people not to drink beer. I'm not telling people not to drink coffee. Drink whatever you want. I don't care. Just don't make me drink it. I've become, if nothing else, increasingly laissez-faire as my life has gone on. Still, I like sprinkling instant coffee on ice cream. Now, I'm not going to naysay that because that might be fine. I never understood people that like lobster. You know what fishermen call lobster? Yeah, they're like roaches of the sea, garbage disposal of the sea, whatever. They are delicious, though. Same for crabs. And Jacob Knowles is one of my favorite YouTube channels. The Maine lobster fisherman. Why is this not fitting? We'll motivate it. How's that? That's not popping out. Yeah, Lee Jordan, you and my wife. She doesn't like beer at all, but she loves a cider. That's the original American alcohol, the cider. Tuna is the only fish my kids will eat. What? That's wild. I wouldn't fight you that Maryland... I watch him as well. God, what is his name? I remember Jacob Knowles. I can see him. He's on his crab boat. Dang it. It's killing me. He just came up on my feed yesterday. He's a blue crab fisherman. That's pretty even on the droop. I think we're okay. Now, I have no idea. And then DravTechs go in the DravTech drawer. Now we got to find something that's going to need DravTech 95s. Or I could put offsets on them. Dr. Pepper, Barks root beer, and some lime juice. Wow. The only fish my kids will eat is salmon. Oh, okay. So the one guy will work for Guns' kids are keeping him cheap because tuna is like the big old rancid bowl of that stinking fish. And then Bill Truitt's kids are trying to put him in the poorhouse because they only eat salmon. And salmon can get real expensive. Yeah, I don't understand how you cigarette smokers are still doing it. They have tried to destroy you economically. I mean, even in places that are not California, a pack of cigarettes has got to be what, $9? Like, how do you afford? If you're a pack a day smoker, that's almost $300 a month in cigarettes. Like, how are you affording cigarettes? Salmon is good. Anyone else? Whoa! Anyone else drink the water out of a tuna can? Dear, sweet, infant baby Jesus. That's cat behavior. Organized chaos. Jerry the raccoon is a raccoon. Organized chaos might be a cat. Anyone openly admitting to drinking tuna juice out of the can might be a cat. Make sure there's no fronts and rears here. Yeah, they all feel the same to me. I'll get one of them wrong. 14, $20 a pack. But and they're still, are they still claiming nicotine's not addictive? But if you're dropping $20 a pack on it. Before he got vape, the blind guy was cloves, Jarm cloves. And then they reclassed them into California cigars, and they only sold them they sold them in 10 packs, but they still charged the same amount. He was smoking like $20 a day in those things. I was like, not me, man. I don't smoke. I don't drink. What do you do? Toy cars. I think nicotine is more addictive than caffeine ever was. Probably. When I quit smoking, I told myself, use that money to buy RC. I worked with a guy that I told him that if he quit smoking, at that time, and this is 20 plus years ago, at that time he was smoking 2 packs a day. And I told him that for 2 packs a day, he could probably buy a new truck. And he said, nah, there's no way. He's all, that's not a thing. And then he went home, and he did just that. He looked it up, and he was like, I can buy a truck. When I was stationed in Hawaii, $15 a pack. $1.50, yeah. I'm old enough to remember the cigarette vending machines in the bowling alley. These guys have different hubs? No, they're all the same. Front feels a little tight. Feels a little snuggy. Especially when I blasted it down a little too much. Hot and spicy pork rinds. I can't do chicharrones, man. Can't do pork rinds. The texture of it is weird. And then my youngest is trying to leapfrog me, and they can't have spicy anymore. They're not even 20. And they've lost spicy already. Just tears their stomach up. I was like, you at less than 20 was me at after 40. This has probably got a little bit of sauce on it. Not a lot, but enough. Enough to move around. We just need to move around. Fire. I think that's out of sign even. Like that's just normal. No, we're still at 10. So that would be out of sign. So we're in regular. Yeah, it kind of slows off a little bit. I just never could do pork rinds. The wife likes them. They never caught with me. I start getting sick when I stop eating dairy. I have the opposite of lactose intolerance. That's crazy. It's gotten to the point now where like I can handle ice cream. I can handle cheese. I can handle all those things. You know what I can't do? Drink a glass of milk. I cannot drink a glass of milk. It will hit me like a hammer. And it falls from the camera. So it doesn't have quite... They feel pretty good. I mean, I don't know... Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, still 130, 135. More than I would like still. Yeah, 140 in the front. So it was flexing probably close to 160. Oh, you know what? Okay, let's give it a try. We want to try to get this thing a little more behaved. Just go straight up one. Da-da-da. That's how we can. This isn't really going to decrease up travel much unless we get into a mechanical, but it will decrease down travel. Worst case, it's a wash. You know. Too much flex is... The rocks have shown time and time again that the rocks are not Reddit. I saw a picture on Reddit where the guy had his front axle. Yeah, look how much nice and lower that's sitting. He had his front axle up, so the front tire like this was up on like 2 energy drink cans. So it was almost completely sideways. And I was like, what are you doing? That's not going to help. But if you're just mushing around, you're not trying to do anything specific, he's probably never going to get into that negative zone. I think by going to lower holes, we were just basically doing I think the portal axle wants 85s. That's just me. That's me. That's the way I prefer it. But the blind guy is the blind guy, and he's footing the bill for this one. So he bought the shocks for his vehicle. So I'm not going to complain. Why is everybody so hot about flex? Yeah. It's like it's showing off. Like, look what my thing can do. I mean, I can't complain too loudly. That's why I built Ghost Rover. Well, partially to show that you can't just go all flex. Yeah, she was way undersprung. What are we sitting at now? 115. Just less than a tire in the back. In the front, we've got 120 tire in the front. I can pretty much guarantee you that's going to be perfect. Well, perfection is unattainable. That's going to be better. And we might actually end up having to stand them up in the rear a little bit more because after the weight of that body, she just slams out. The front feels great. I want that right there. What have I got hole-wise? Yeah, I'll just come back one. Do you replace both 10 Pro Seals with Desert Lizard or just bottom? I just replaced them all at the same time. You could probably get away with just, that's an interesting question that you pose. You could probably get away with just replacing the lower one. But, you know, if I've drained a shock and pulled it apart, I just change all the seals. Might have to go up a rate. This is the beauty of these SSDs fitting those big Chavtech springs, because those big Chavtech springs come in way more rates than the regular Chavtech springs. There's 1 pound, 1.2, 1.5, 1.7, 2.0. Also, I would never say anything about it, but I will say something about it now just for frame of reference. It's not flex, it's articulation. If you're on a linked suspension, nothing is actually flexing. They call it flex as a deliberate misnomerization. Because articulation goes both ways. In order for this tire to go up, that tire is going down. So this side is at full extension while this side is at full compression. It's called articulation. But there's no days that start with A, so we can't have articulation day. We can't have articulation Saturdays when there's such an alliterative ring to flex Fridays. And I do appreciate a good alliteration. You'd never know from the Wheelin' Wednesday guy, right? And now, that's just sprung better. The same people that call magazines clips. I just had to tell, my son asked me this morning, he said to me, what is the difference between a clip and a magazine? And I said, if you have a gun that has a reloadable receptacle that you fill with bullets, that is a magazine. If you have an M1 Garand, it has a clip. But there's a couple out there, I'm sure, but like the M1 uses a clip, stripper clips. But everything else is a magazine. But much like how that's not, I mean, it says it right on the back. We know it's not flex, it's articulation, but got articulation, it doesn't have that ring on it. I don't really like things that are not a proper plate of food. Put a tire up on the wood thing in the back. Let's see her flexing for the rest of the live. Let's see. Yeah, that's down too. You'll be able to see on 3. See, she's down. That is... I had to ask what a glizzy was. It's a hot dog. It's a dang old hot dog. I know what a glizzy is. Which actually wasn't a gun term at first, but then they made it into a 5-6 rounds come in 10-round clips that you can load into your magazine. Do you have more fun pushing limited articulation rigs to the limits than driving the more capable rigs over the same lines with ease? Well, it's tough to say. I mean, I do like a limitation, but and as Mr. Spain says, tell me it doesn't look good. That is about the most flex in a tire of that size. That is about the most flex that you would like to see. Oh yeah, the Mauser box cannon used a stripper clip. Did it load in from the top, and then they went pating, 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 pating? Yeah. But nowadays, it's everything's a magazine. If it's removable. No, they even call the tube... Isn't the tube on a shotgun even called a magazine? Yeah. So I told him, just to be safe, just call everything a magazine. Because there's only like a couple of them that are clips. There used to be a paintball gun back in the old day that used clips. It shot 60 caliber, which was weird. Did not catch on. The Steyr M95 uses clips. There you go. Kids' brain rot language is terrible. Magtube. Magtube is a great word, Magtube. So, until we've done a bit of running, and this means that we have one more that is ready and willing, Articulation Tuesday should be close enough. It kind of would. Yeah, a Pez dispenser is a magazine. Yeah. It's reloadable. Wasn't that part of the top loader thing with the paintball guns? Yeah, most guns now are still... There are some magazine-fed, like, scale stuff now, we'll call it. Milsim stuff that feeds out of magazines. What is the final result? The number one vote was 30%, just edged out, $5 or less. 27% at 5 to 7. 28% at 8 to 10. And a 15% at... What's the matter with you? After tax, $9.25 is what I pay for the coffee drink. Now, I get the big one, and the wife, who is addicted to working out and carb cycling, she takes like 3 sips out of it and then walks for 10 minutes afterward because she's lost her ever-loving mind. Yeah, we used to buy 2 regular size. So this is a big old 24-ounce one. And then I end up drinking more than I should. They've slowed paintball velocity down to so much. How much? How low is it now? What is? I haven't been to a field. I've been to a field 2 times since my kids were born. Like, we played in the backyard. So your coffee drink is basically a Jamocha shake from Arby's, or at least what they used to be. The new ones are good. And modern wolves aren't any good. What's wrong with modern wolves? You only like old-timey wolves? Wolves are what wolves are, man. I love spell check. I love it. Yeah, I don't know. I've never had a Jamocha shake. I know that I've tried a lot of different quote-unquote coffee drinks, and none of them really compare to Patio Special. I have a paintball stock that holds 5 small canisters, and to change CO2 canisters, you pull the handle. Oh, lever changer. Heck yeah. Yeah, there were also pump changers or slam changers. Yeah, when we started, we were in the CO2 cartridge era. But what it was called then at the time, constant air, was just starting to be a thing. So my first marker, as they would later call it, had a 10-ounce CO2 cylinder with a thermo valve on it, and it weighed a metric ton. And everything's all HP is just air now. Everything's just air now. Good old air. Yeah, 9 1/4. Welcome to California. When we were active, field velocities were always capped at 300 feet per second. And most of the time, particularly when playing out in the backyard, the place that's a rock crawler course now, when we were playing out there, we would set the velocity to 280. Because, we're shooting at each other from 60 feet away. And also, you had especially in the CO2 era, you could accidentally run hot. Yeah, we were in the late 80s. Yeah, that's when I started, 89. And I had a 10-ounce. 7-ounce bottles were becoming pretty common at that time. I have to go back to like 2007. Squeeze. I think it's around 2007. Some pictures of some speaker boxes I made. A lot of speaker boxes. Okay, now I'm in 2006, so that'll be too early. It's either mid to late 07 or early 08. I will find a picture and I will airdrop it to the computer and I will screen share it. There's my kids at the zoo when they were very small. 4 years old. It's a crazy part about living in this iPhone era. Stealing grandma's O2 bottles. Yeah, we had a chrono every time we played. Absolutely. We had a red chrono, the original OG red chrono. Later had a couple different radar chronos. There's a radar chron in this building somewhere. I haven't used it in many years, but I know that it exists. Yeah, having an iPhone is a little bit like having a time machine, because our iPhoto has like 23,000 pictures in it that go back. There's 20 years of photographs on this. It's wild to even think of. My kids from when they were tiny all the way till now. 2009. It just asked me if I wanted. Oh, it's the cameras. It wanted to know if I could send a picture from an iPhone to an iPhone, and I was like, not really. So this is, mind you, here's the most of me you've ever seen, unless you where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh, it's in downloads. Unless you've been one of those people that works really hard to see where I've accidentally appeared in a video. Because I've been in the frame of a video a couple times. So from, from June 20th, 2009, that was, you'll recognize that fence. You'll recognize that the neighbor's yard 16 years ago looked exactly the same as it does now. And that was fairly typical paintball attire. Shorts, no sleeves, the mirror mask to scare the noobs. Those are God, what were those shoes? Those were football turf cleats with the tiny little tiny little lugs on them. They were great. Yeah, that's right directly behind me was Deadline, and that does appear to be an autococker, but that's even older. That's a Sniper 2. That is pre-autococking mechanism. That's full pump action. It is not a small target. No, it is not. But you've seen the size of the course, and we're playing paintball on a course that size. So from when we yell go, somebody can hit you. So we just got used to getting hit. And you really do toughen up to it. That's why the first time we went with some of the nephews and played airsoft, we were like, what is this? What is this? Those BBs hit you and you didn't even feel anything. I have a bolt action with a wire stock and a suppressor. with a custom-made tolerance slider over the suppressor with a flat bar attached to the bolt, so it had pump action. Heck yeah, it was crap, but we had fun. Yeah. Camera toter got you one stern crawl Olympics. Yeah. Yeah, it was basically speedball in the backyard because we were so close together. And we started off, you know, that picture was taken 20 years after I'd started playing it. So we started off in the woods, just like everybody else. And then it was one of those things. Paintball is definitely leading among hobby pursuits that people apparently drop and then never pick up again. All the paintball videos I have seen are recent. It seems like everybody's just spam firing. No one's really aiming. We always called it accuracy by volume. And as I had related before, when we started playing the game, we went down to a little place, a little hole in the wall called Fontana Paintball. And we bought our paintballs 100 rounds at a time in a sandwich bag for $5. So every time you went pump, click, that was a nickel flying out of the end. So we were trained from very early on to be accurate. And then playing paintball for all those years ruined my ability to play PvP video games. Because if you got shot in paintball, you had to go over and sit on the side and wait for people to be done. And that sucks. You wanted to live through the whole game. So I played support the whole time. We had a guy named Nick that was with our crew, or as we called him, the monkey. And he jumped around like a monkey because he was a little guy, probably 5'5". And you just throw cover down for the monkey. And you keep people's heads down. And he moves up and shoots them in the back. And it was a good time. It was times gone by. I've come to a slow and gradual acceptance that I've probably played for my last time. Like you never know. What's the old statement that you never know when the last time you're gonna pick up your kid. I sneak up behind those sons of bitches and pick them up all the time. Just pick them up off the ground. They go, "Hey, what are you doing?" I can still do it, but I probably have played paintball for the last time. And I think I'm okay with it because it's like everything else. Me and Lee Jordan started off when it was CO2 cartridges, and you might use 100 paintballs on a whole weekend. And now guys are blazing a case out. And I did the whole thing, much like this. I have never competed in anything real with these. I did in Go Fasts. I raced buggy and short course. Buggy and stadium truck and short course in my life. Spread out kind of far apart. And it comes and it goes. Little fella had a broken rear link and rock slider. I'm glad I could save him from his abusive former home. Yeah. I sent you broken stuff. I didn't even notice that it was broken when I sent it. But Miata Commuter just showed up and didn't even get to see that Bruce's whole front end is broken. It wiggles side to side now. So he needs repairs as well. So I will take that $25 and not use it to repair a little fella because little fella doesn't live here anymore. He was sent to live on a farm. And that's okay. Because I can't drive them all the time. I'm going to get it to where I'm trying. I'm trying to embrace Class 1. You get quite a bit more range with airsoft, but yeah, people not even realizing they've been hit can suck. Used to airsoft in an old nightclub that was pretty much point blank. Yeah. Just seeing that makes me want to dig out the old autococker and dust it off. Yeah, I have my ancient autococker is hanging. Well, let's see if I can see it. Can you see that cable? Is that cable visible at all? So that guy goes back some great number of years. That's an original WGP frame and the whole deal. and I had to build a bunch of custom parts to get it put back together. Shoots nice, but it's one of those guns that the kids today, they're not going to use. You have to be, anybody who's shot a cocker knows, full pull, full release, full pull, full release. There ain't no electronics in there. If you half stroke it, you're going to slice a ball in half and make a big old mess. If you had to go to a rock comp tomorrow, what of your rigs are you taking to win? If I'm taking 2 or 3, I'm gonna take Madam Mim, I'm gonna take Lolo, and I'm gonna take my Zoku FF. Which coincidentally, all 3 are on Megalithics. But, you know. If I was doing class 2, at any rate. I was watching your review of the stickies. Yeah, they went to Canada. They went to Canada. Oh, Mr. Spain already got it. Yeah, I remember the Eclipses. A buddy of mine bought a race gun, right? Race gun cocker conversion. And it sat in a box in the loft here for probably 4 or 5 years. And I was cleaning stuff up, and I found that thing in the box, and I texted him, and I was like, bro, do you want this thing? I just found this thing in the attic. It's been up here forever. And he goes, yeah, sure, I'll take it. He takes it home, doesn't even have to clean it up. It had the full barrel set with the full, 9 different backs, and then the 3 different length fronts. It had all the stuff that go with it. We never got that thing to even cycle properly. And he listed it up on eBay and sold it for $1,000. And he told me, and he was like, you could have just sold that thing and never told me that you found it. And I was like, bro, nah, I ain't mad about it. But I mean, $1,000. But when he was doing auto detailing, he ceramic coated my car for $100, so I considered an even trade. Cat distribution system supplied you with a cat. Heck yeah! The cat distribution system is overly effective. The cat distribution system, let me tell you, you want something cat related? We have 4 cats, which for some people is maybe 4 cats too many. I'm like a 1 cat, 2 cat guy, but now we have 4. And number 3, Frank fell off of the headboard of the bed. And when I say headboard, I mean there's a space about this wide that a cat tries to walk on. Frank fell off of that at about 4 o'clock this morning, and he landed on my face. And his, I'm assuming, right rear foot went in my mouth, and he accelerated off of me, and I have a pretty good slash on my lower lip, a big scabbing lump on my upper lip, and a little bit of a hole on the inside of my lip where the claw went into me. And me and Frank are not talking right now because it felt like someone knuckle punched me right in the bottom lip while I was asleep. And that is not like, I don't care. No matter how cool you think you are, if somebody comes and punches you in the face when you're asleep, you will wake up disoriented and like, what just happened to me? That's just how that works. And me and Frank, we're going to be at odds for a few days now. And the wife is like, you have to go easy on him. He has poo brain. And he does have poo brain. He's not, his elevator doesn't go all the way to the top floor. Thankfully, no, as Jeff Templeton, thankfully Frank had not pooped or peed recently. So he hadn't been in the sand. He's gotten me in the face before. One time he ran across my face. But ordinarily, he gets the spook in him, and he runs across the bed at like a diagonal, and he'll run right across your crotch while you're asleep, which is like someone lightly punching you in the groin while you're asleep. So Frank was dehydrated and malnourished and had some neurological. There was definitely some impact on the system from that. So Frank is I'm going to tell the wife that one. Frank is definitely knitting with one needle. As she says, you can't be too mad at him because Frank has no idea that he's done anything. Frank never has any idea that he's doing anything. If you put any box on the floor, Frank will get in it. And then you'd say, well, that's a cat thing. Cats will just get into boxes. Then Frank proceeds to try to dig through the box to find out what's on the other side of the box. Frank will try to escape from the house by getting in the gap between the door and the wall when the door is opening. And then when you open the door, he doesn't know how to back up or turn around. So he just stays there until you close the door. Because, yes, Frank has definitely got shrink brain. The elevator does not go all the way to the top floor. Frank is a lyric from a Fiona Apple song. He doesn't know what to do with a gentle voice. It'd roll right past him. He doesn't, I don't think he understands what's going on ever. He tries to be a good man. But my God, is he troublesome. I mean, he's a cat, so they're all troublesome, but Frank is, if not the bane of my existence, then this is the bane of my wife's existence. That's Bubba. That's the big Bubs. And the big Bubs, when the big Bubs wants something, she comes and lays on the wife's lap, and the big Bubs weighs like 20 pounds. And sometimes she'll gnaw on you a little bit. But she doesn't have the poo brain. She just throws her weight around. Let me see if I can find... Everybody has met Frank. They just don't know it yet because he is as prototypical of a brown tabby as one could conceivably imagine. We see pictures on the internet. Would you believe that this is a completely different photo taken at a completely different time on a completely different day? Those pictures were taken like 3 months apart. That's the big Bubs bullying the wife again. I'm the only one that doesn't get bullied by cats, except Frank falling on my face or running across my face while I'm asleep. And like I say, he's not, I mean, look, how could you be mad at Frank knowing that he's an idiot? Like, he's an idiot, and like, his brain don't work good. See, all I needed to do was look at there he is hanging out under the Christmas tree. You just see a couple pictures of you, Frank, and you're like, oh, he's not so bad. And then I remember that my lip hurts. I'm like, damn it, Frank. My usual description is that Frank is a goon. Because he is. He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah. Much more typical of Frank. Like, you can see, is he looking at you? Who knows? Who can tell? He's in a box that he doesn't even fit in. He's a stripy man, and he's an idiot. And he didn't mean to fall on my face, but he only fell on my face because they think they're starving to death. And if you don't feed them on time, they're going to lose their minds. There's a picture of him inside the cabinets. Oh my God. And we call him every every permutation of Frank that you can think of. All cats are goons on some level. Yeah, that's the thing. Frank will do the thing where he just stares into the corner. Yeah. Oh, look at it. He's such a wonderful idiot. He found a gopher hole, and he's just in it. He's just in it. He's so dumb. He's such a dum-dum. See, I'm almost already not mad at Frank anymore. By the time I have my coffee drink, I will have forgotten that Frank fell on my face and punctured a hole in my lip. Frank is dead with just nothing going on at all. Yeah, I don't know how much is really going on in there at all. Because his temperament, it's not like he's angry. And the best is when we let him outside, when he has his outside time, he'll catch a lizard, and then he does that like guttural that they can generate inside their bodies because he doesn't want anybody taking his lizard. And we're like, Frank, we don't want your lizard. And then at first opportunity, he will run into the house with the lizard and then drop the lizard on the ground. Because that's what Frank does. Frank is a menace. I'm swinging back around. The pendulum is swinging back completely the other way. Frank is a menace, and he needs to be stopped. Bring the Frank. Well, that's the thing about Frank. Frank is asleep right now because Frank will be up menacing people during the night. But not me. I don't even have a bin for this. The SSD Scale Shocks also have weird sized balls. They got weird balls. They're 7.5 by 6, which is weird. If he's asleep, he can't run away. That's true. Cats do look into space for no reason. Yeah. Frank wants the attention of no one except the wife. Frank chose the wife as his human. Most of the cats choose the wife as their human. Yeah. She gets harassed by all of them in different measure. Most of them don't harass me at all, except Tiny Lion. Tiny Lion's too smart. Be careful around cats. They want your soul. No, cats are here to protect your souls. Hopefully. Because now I have to live with 4 of them. And I miss the Jeej as well. And I said I was okay. I'm all right. Okay. And the next thing we know, instead of 1 cat, it's 2 cats, then it's 4 cats. So the wife has already put there's definitely a cat moratorium. People at work keep saying to her, "Oh, you like cats? You want some cats?" And she's like, "God, no." She's like, "I'm not 100% sure how we ended up with 4. I'm like, "I'm not sure how we ended up with 4 either. Do they swing to and fro? Can you tie them in a knot? Can you tie them in a bow? Can you throw them over your shoulder? Like a continental soldier?" Yeah, it's so I'm just gonna keep these sealed in the little bag because they're 5.7. They're 6 by 7.5 instead of 5.7 by 7.5. So if I want to move those shocks to anything else, and I don't think I'm going to, I think they're gonna work great on this. And near random spring choice looks like it's going to work out. I need more drawers for shock crap. Yeah, Spirit of the Forest has chosen us a little bit. They come and they go. Spirit of the Forest has to have a home. Because Spirit of the Forest is too healthy and floofy looking and just appears. There's no such thing as a free cat. I think all cats are free. I think they live with us. They choose to live with us. Because if a cat gets out, it's just going to go live. It'll either live outside or find another family. Have you decided to live from the expo? You know what? I think I'm going to try it. I think I might try it on either Thursday or Saturday. I have been, it's been outlined. I'm going Thursday and Saturday. Which means the live will continue as normal. We'll see how many people are here for that. Well, we got all the international crowd. That is 4th of July, Friday, July 4th. We will definitely be here for that. And we have no time limit on that one because they won't most likely get back that day until probably 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. But, I mean, we do have that coffee drink scheduled, so. I got a phone mount and a selfie stick, like a walking stick. That way you can just mount the camera to it, and then you don't know. That's the only point where you want to. Here's, try to stay away from the mirrors. Yeah. Or I can get a Daft Punk head. I guess I might have to get a Daft Punk head on the way. What I'm most likely going to do, it's all in this building. So, I will probably peruse Amazon for something smaller and or lighter. But every one of these has a leg that comes off. For the monopod, and then I just have to find the adapter. Because I want one that is the twist type, not this type. And then I will just pop this guy off. And I will bosh that on top of there. And then I will have that little guy. And then I will slap my phone in that little guy. And I'll be able to just poop, set it on the ground. And then you can fend people off with it. But I should be able to get, you know what? Last I checked, I have the internet. I have the internet right here. I'm on the internet right now. What is a monopod? An Amazon Basic 67-inch monopod is $13. Just strap your phone to your head. Hands-free, baby. Then how am I going to see the chat? I like that one. I want a twisty type. I want a twisty type that's not $139. I will do some informed shopping. I will do some informed shopping. Is there a servo list? I just got a Savox 1290 SCG, and oh my god, it's so loud I wish I could return it. Oh man. I have a 1290 here as well. So, for the non-members, the reason that who was looking for it that can't find the Axle tier list. Yeah, if you want to see the Axle tier list, I did it in the live stream last week. So it's on the June 6th live stream. I clipped it from the live stream. It will be live in about 45 minutes. Tomorrow is the shock tier list. Then we have the usual nonsense. And then on Tuesday is the servo tier list. I can't get these things out fast enough. Mr. Sofa King scale. Please, no. Repeat too fast loses meaning. The wheels aren't pink because never try to match colors. Never try to match colors. You would never get a pink wheel the same color as the pink body unless you painted the wheels with the same pink that you painted the body. So we just went with, I mean, you can't go wrong with oil slick. I had a different set in mind and then ended up with these because I thought they looked good. Also, pro hack that we stole from the Spider, the G-Made Spider. You buy a Capra fuel cell and you screw it to the floor where the overweight seats go. And then you get one of these ultra lightweight seats from AliExpress and you shave a whole bunch of money out of the CJ. A whole bunch of weight and money out of the CJ. Because that body is still heavy. If they had designed this cage in a way that showed that they kind of cared, this bar would go like this, down like that, instead of this, because this is infinitely turtleable. But it's fine. It's fine. At least it's got foldy mirrors. Remember, you have to send me pics of the tier lists for the website. I can wait to update it, but if you don't send me pics, I forget. And if you don't remind me again, I'll forget again. I'm in my old person stage where I have a bag of Werther's original hard candy caramels that I eat during the day. Hell yeah. I like to keep some of those in my pocket. This radio's still on. That's how I do. Would have left that on till tomorrow. I was like, why can't that guy find the tier list? And I was like, oh right. Because I haven't it hasn't gone live yet. Take Bruce to the Expo, turn it into Wheel on Wednesday. Bruce would have to be even bigger. It's so many people. And yes, I saw the question go by. Yes, there will be furries there. Yeah, you will see people in the full regalia. Sometimes I feel it's not a FOMO feeling, but I feel a little bit like at the very least a fuddy-duddy because I don't engage, I don't embrace the whole movement. I'm there to do a little bit of shopping. I love to get, like that guy is from the Luffy with all the hats, the Spiegel, the Alphonse, the first of my Labubus, the MAK, those guys, those were Anime Expo. I got that guy at Box Lunch in the mall. I try to find just like one cool thing. And that's the thing. And there's a, yeah, I'll be the odd one out there. Yeah. I went to an OSHA 30 class, and the largest furry convention in the U.S. was in the same venue. Wow. That's wild. Yeah, I mean, I have a philosophy because the philosophy, but probably not the only dad there with the kids. Oh, no, definitely not. No. I have a philosophy, and it branches off of the philosophy that I formed with this, which is everybody has their own nerdery, right? Everybody's got their own thing, right? And whether that thing is on the fringe of society or just in the same bucket with every other hobby that absorbs money. A place like Anime Expo, that's the ultimate safe space, man. It's like if you're at the RC rock crawling whatever, whether it's a convention, whether it's just an area that's set aside for it, nobody's allowed to say nothing to you when you're at that place because you're at the place for that thing. It's like when you hear the Karens yelling at skaters at the skate park. It's where they're supposed to be, Karen. Leave them alone. So it's the same thing. All the furries in the world can show up at the Anime Expo. All the anime nerds and the geeks and the dweebs and the weirdos, That's their place, man. It's fine. If anything, I am the one that's out of place because it's not my bag, baby. I have a couple of anime that I like, but I do not invest any time in it. I like the figures. I like video games too and toy cars. But I'm not, I haven't watched every episode. Yeah, one of my kids are nerds, right? Better nerds than out causing trouble and getting pregnant and getting drunk and high. So I'll take it. I'll take nerd. It's 0020 in Spain. Yeah, 320 here. I feel like they're going to be sticky. Someone mentioned they know where they are on the Wizard wait list. How do I get to find that out? Probably go on chat with Amain and see if you can find out. Maybe they're running a little smoother now and they'll let you know. Now I'm just sitting back and everybody's having chats among themselves. I love it that this is self-regulating. Remember to send me the tier list pics when you're free. Also tell me when you do want to update the website. I can wait until the videos are live if you want to. Oh yeah, that was the reason that I hadn't sent you any of the pictures is because I was waiting for the videos to go up. But I guess I could just send them to them now. I mean, I forget that the website exists. I don't know how many other people remember that the website exists. Oh, and damn it, it went by. Somebody mentioned a monopod to look at. Look at Bog Shooting Stick Monopod. I'm on it. The live is the best day of the week. Do you like the Megalithics as much as the Tusks? All right, Mr. Turner, here's the real deal. The Tusk is probably my overall favorite rock crawling tire because it has the near perfect blend of appearance and performance. The Megalithic has more raw performance to it. It's like the baby of a Tusk and a Rupture. And somehow that child outperformed its parents. The Megalithic is just pure performance. It is inarguably unattractive. It is borderline hideous in its appearance, particularly in the Class 1. It has no realism to it at all. But if your target is performance, then look through the fleet and look who runs Megs. Zoku FF, Ot6 Wizard. Like, we're going to go and put the highest performance tire on the highest performance vehicles. If I could only choose one, I would have to stick with Tusks because, A, they come in every dang size. 393, 419, 475, 525, 575, and sizes for 18th scales and 24 scales. Everything. And they made a Tusk for everything. The Megalithic is more performance. If you like the look of the Megalithic, then you really need buy no other tire. They have 0% scale to them, but boy, howdy do they work. Did you see the RC review guy get his channel taken to my YouTube? Okay. I'm not casting aspersions. I'm not saying anything about anyone. But here is what goes on in my head when I hear that happen. When you want to disable your YouTube channel, and by disable it, I mean don't just like YouTube. I don't know how to dance around this subject. It's not simple to turn off and or delete a YouTube channel. As far as I know, to my knowledge as a creator, YouTube does not have the ability to delete a channel. They can suspend it and they can stop it from showing up, but they can't delete it. deleting an account has to be done by the account holder. Now, Francis did mention that there was another name, there was another person on it, and I don't know what went on in the background. But someone, and it was not YouTube, someone deleted that channel and all of the stuff went down with it. Because here's how you know. What do they say? What's rule number 1? Follow the money. YouTube is not going to delete a 100,000 subscriber channel that is probably generating several $1,000s in AdSense revenue per month, because YouTube is taking a 45% cut of that money. Content gone is ads YouTube can't show. So we'll most likely never know what happened in the background to poof begone that channel, but that is indeed what happened. And also any channel membership he might have had, any of that, any brand deals, any of that stuff is just gone. So I don't know. I feel like there's more of a story to it. I don't know if we're even entitled to that story. But as far as I know, YouTube cannot delete a channel. 45%, that's robbery. Now you're seeing it. Now you're seeing how YouTube works. Just think of Mr. Beast and Coco Melon and all those channels where YouTube is pulling 45% of the AdSense off of that. Okay, there's a lot of these. Bog Dead Shot Monopod, which is apparently for guns, but I'm guessing the top part unthreads. Twist now, locking leg, nice. Or am I looking for the wrong thing? Oh, no. So Mr. Turner asked the question. The 45% is on AdSense. I get 55%. They get 45%. The split on Super Chats, on any other contribution you make, any money that you give, if it's done through Google, even like the gift subscriptions, the split is about 80-20. So I get 80%. So if it was $10, I get $8 and Google keeps to it. It's not quite that. There's actually, it's almost like a currency exchange. So there's like money sliding one way or the other. But no, there's definitely more money comes this way. Like Patreon is even more favorable. It's 90-10, but there are no guarantees, coverages, or assurances. Like that money that anyone has contributed today, if you want to get that money back, if you change your mind, good luck with that. You got to go through Google to try to get that money. So it's like having an intermediate. So I'm okay with having the intermediate, right? Google will take their percentage. It keeps YouTube in business. As I said, I am not archival. I can't store anything. I just had to throw away about 30 more videos because I ran out of room on my 4 terabyte drive. If YouTube disappeared tomorrow, all my videos would be gone with it. They're not hosted anywhere else. And YouTube is where all my stuff is. 1,400 videos, give or take. Now, it's not like losing the works of Van Gogh or anything if they did disappear tomorrow. So, test a rig with no rear drive shaft, then try the front that way. You can do that with that. You set your dig to here and your OD to here, and If you go in the middle, then it disconnects the front drive shaft. You can just spin it in neutral. You need to do something in Rumble too. Yeah, there's a lot of different platforms now. Need to send you another 4 terabyte drive. So yeah, I run an external Thunderbolt driven NVMe drive, and for the drive and the housing was $300, which is why I have a 4 terabyte. Because I like storage be expensive, and I can fill that 4 terabyte real fast, real fast. Have you ever thought about setting up a Patreon? I have. You know what? I might have actually already gone through the opening steps of it, and then I was like, I don't know. What does all that mean? Oh, my editing station, 2 terabyte internal, 4 terabyte in external NVMe, and then I have an 8 terabyte drive that I use to store movies. And then I have a 4 terabyte external mechanical drive that I use for Time Machine, for backups, for backups. So I have 8, 4, 4, and 2. So I have 18 terabytes in the house. And then this one right here that I use to stream on, 250 gigabytes, because I don't store anything on it. It's used pretty much for this. Yeah, I do need a NAS. And a NAS is not going to be cheap. The external NVMe to do editing, it needs to be fast to be able to load and unload and export and all of that stuff. I just, I'm not Francis Ford Coppola, so I'm already using, let's be honest, I'm using more equipment than I need. But it's just a hobby that's intermingling with the other hobby. Might as well be speaking Russian. Bigger numbers are more, Charles. Bigger numbers are more and cost more. And I can tell you that. All of this brought to you by this lovely, for me, I mean, to people who are camera people, a NAS is a basically like is like network storage, where you have a big box that has a bunch of hard drives in it, and then it's like enormous. And then your next step after the network storage is like you go to like tape drives, like the slow-mo guys, and those things are gargantuan. But yeah, I get a quick question. I cut one of the back screw holes on the TRX first servo mount. You think it'll be okay with how locked into the chassis it is? Oh, you mean just 3 points mounting it to the chassis? Yeah, it'd probably be fine. Should probably be fine. But the quality of your videos are way above a lot of other, excuse me for saying this, content creators. Yeah, they don't care. They're still using phones, man. They're still... I'm good. Oh, I just saw. We're cutting into the coffee time. I will thank you so much for being here. The guy looking for the Axle tier list, about 27 minutes. 27 minutes. What's up with the XP? Mike Cross, we still have no idea. I will echo the Spaniard because we really don't know. If there were benefits for you or benefits for me, I'd be like, yay! But so far as I can tell, they've introduced a points system to the chat on videos, and Organized Chaos, the Spaniard, and Rudy top the list, even though there's 4 other people that have 300 XP. And the XP resets with every live stream. I have no idea. Nobody knows what it does. Yeah, Axle tier list. Oh, I forget about how we close this thing out, and I just set Zorana down. So wait, let's see. Maybe we can get I want to get it where it feels pretty good. We'll go like this. Here's your spin out. That's some weight on there. I will see you all. I will see you all again real soon. Oh, who got booted? Message. Oh, did Jerry the Raccoon get banned again? I will I will see you all in the next one. All of the usual things. If you're a member, you've already, the schedule goes up usually every week. And not going to encourage chat spamming at all. He says, dripping with sarcasm. Yeah, the more comments there are in chat, the more they feed your live stream out onto the general feed for people to see. So I am mere moments away from a $9 coffee. I'm going to do the usual thing where we turn off the blinky. We shut down all the other cameras. What happens if I have it on a camera and I shut that camera off? Oh, it just freezes. Cool. Now I know. So, thanks for coming by, everybody. We will see you in the next one. And trying to keep that content up and ahead because every day we creep a little bit closer to Anime Expo. And I will be streaming at least one day. I've made a commitment to myself, so watch out for that.